and welcome to Trucking Answers. A minute or two late, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties, but we are here now for another exciting show, and I hope that goes good because I'm trying to figure out how to do all the stuff here that's going on. So we're going to change this to that, and we should be better. That's much better. All right, so let's do it. All right, so let's say okay to that. That's much clearer, and we are in the deal. All right, finally, sorry about that. So what's going on here today, everybody? I'm behind, of course. That's what's new about that. Michael Muller was the first one here today. Thank you very much for that. As I do some clicking to get stuff going. All right, we are going to have a very big show today, as always. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As I always say every week, and let's do this. So, who is out here today? Michael Muller. What's wrong being number 2? Nate, nothing, right? What's going on? Just got unloaded at Spokane. Glenn, nice. Thanks to see you here. Jason is here today. Marco, Bradley. Can everybody hear me today, by the way? I don't usually ask that, but I was having some problems, so I wanted to see what's going on. How's it going? Headed to Florida this week, Bill. That's good. I'm going to the bottom to see if this is coming through. I was having a lot of technical problems. Let's see. All right, looking at the line, it looks like it's working. So, all right, so I'm going to assume it's working. And, all right, so people are like, wow, this is a great show. Wonderful. Okay, so, Al, what's up? Thank you for being here. K. Wayne, thanks for sticking through some difficulties and technical stuff here. D.A. Simon in Seattle, thank you for being here. All right, so let me get down to here. Trucker Hershey in Nashville and Crashville. Yeah, it's a total mess with all the... Did they open that road with all those rocks that came down on, 24 that came down there or whatever? Houston is pretty fun. Tow truck... Yeah, Houston is no fun because of all the humidity. Yikes. You're in Waco, headed to Muskogee, Oklahoma. Yikes. Michael Muller, our host, is here. Your humble host is finally here. Wendy, thank you for being here. Somebody needs to go to the dressing room. Holy mackerel. Yeah, I'm all dressed up and nowhere to go. Cassius King Trucking, thank you for being here. I apologize. My sincerest sympathies to your wiener. Gen Media, what's happening from Ocala, Florida? Jason, I was up. I was working on it. All right, let's welcome Mark. Good Dana, thank you for being here today. I appreciate you coming in. Extreme Circuits, Fatty 2x4, always great to see that. Detention, I'm the one getting a demerit today. That isn't any good on my own thing, so that's great. Will Hazard, what's going on today? Jeff Roberts, Sear Engel will now offer free burritos. At least they're giving you something. At least they're paying you something over there. Yikes. Oscar, can't see me. People would say that is a benefit. Certainly, Blue Lion, what's happening today? The topic today is detention. Felipe, hello there. Thank you for being here. Fishing Trucker. Okay, so detention. FMCSA wants to know about detention time from you all, from us, everybody. And I'll have a static video about this week, too. I think it's important. In the description is a link where you can go give them your comments. All the docket information, everything is right there in that link. It's all right there. It goes right to the FMCSA. They have some questions like, what is detention? How long should you wait? And give an example of why. If you can't say 2 minutes, they want to know why. Say, why should it be the amount that you're saying? They don't want just people to say, oh, okay, it should be 5 minutes or whatever. They want to know exactly what you think about it. And how much, what can they do to help? How can detention be tracked? All those kind of questions. They're all listed there. You have 60 days. It starts today. There'll probably be a video tomorrow about it. For people that are not on the live show, that I don't know who that might be, but I guess there's some people that wouldn't be in it, so great. So there'll be a video out about that. So Michael Lee is in Sterling, Illinois. Gil from Omaha to Laredo. That's not too bad. Tina is loading in Grand Forks, 77. It's warmer than it is here. It's only 68 or 69 out here today. Global warming is working fierce. Yeah, not here today. What's something? Okay, what's up with trucking? Now, ironically, it's very slow. Yeah, they say, driver hiring is slowing down right now. So that's something. What can you do about it? How do you keep your job or whatever? Well, the first thing you should do is keep your record clean. That's certainly one thing you should do. Anyone having anything on the Wilmington ports? Yeah, what's going on down at the ports? You hate the crackdown. Who doesn't? I mean, really, there's no reason to take it. So don't take a crackdown. It's horrible. Somebody wrote to me that said that they took a crackdown from the Carolinas to Salt Lake City for an unnamed company. That is just crazy that the company would even do that to them. It doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, does that really save you money? It was 55 hours. Jason dropped in Long Island. Yikes, this morning. And hopefully there's a Long Island other than the one in New York City. Now getting loaded in Jersey. And hopefully that's like Jersey, Nebraska. That's what I'm hoping for you. Kenworth Rider, good afternoon. The weather in Indiana is sunny today and 70-ish. Right around 70. Our warmest day is going to be like in 2 weeks, 82 degrees. Been a rainy, cool summer started out today. Steel Horse, hello there. Thank you for coming in. 5.5 hours at Tyson and Rogers and Tyson in Rogers, Arkansas. Wow. Did you play chicken with him about that? Huh. Holy mackerel. I just came up with that. England needs to give their drivers free burritos because the pay is too low. Yeah, that can offset the low pay. They go, look, we feed you too, right? Good afternoon in Washington, North Carolina. Brian, good day. Hello there. All divided. Any company training couples? Yeah, I think some places will do that. Speaking of the low pay, an astute viewer wrote to me, and I want to put this out there for everybody early so that people are here. Western Express, they said that Western Express may be paying people for reviews, giving you a raise. Now, I don't have any information to that fact, but I'll tell you what. I looked at their reviews, and in the last couple of weeks, there's tons of 5-star reviews for them. Tons of them. And they're all like a script. Like, oh, my DM is great. My DM gives me miles. It's in every one of them. They're like, here, say this. Now, of course, there's no proof to that, and I don't know if they're doing it. If anybody has any further information about Western Express doing that, I'd love to know about that. There's nothing in writing anywhere that I can find, but it's funny that suddenly they're getting 5-star reviews. Did they raise their pay by like 30 cents and I don't know about it? Maybe that's what happened. There's something happened a couple of weeks ago there. Somebody got an idea in their head. Cash is King is 64 in Lebanon, Indiana. Are you going to pick up at Amazon over there? Paul Cash going from Miami to Savannah. All right, and staying in the warm. How do I like Kottke Trucking? Let's see what people think about that. Just picked up my last farm and now rolling back home to Indiana. Okay, low mileage for flatbed. People have been saying that. Look, ATBS came out with this information and said, look, owner-operators are, they made more money last year, so I don't know what to say. George Costanza is here. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Greyhound does a great job to have, though, as a driver. Union job with benefits. When they advertise, and I haven't called him. I called him years ago. Just thought, oh, maybe I'll drive a Greyhound. It was only $35,000 or $38,000 to start. Not great. I mean, that wasn't great. Maybe it's up now. Maybe. Do I see trucking as a dying industry with all these automated trucks? No way, Oscar. No way. These trucks are a long way from figuring anything out. Even Tesla cars, which are probably the most advanced with self-driving, can't figure stuff out on the road. You all have a lot of you have some of this self-driving, category 2, they would call it, in your truck with the automated radar and the cruise control, the distance keeping cruise. It's horrible. It doesn't work if there's rain, if there's humidity, if there's 2 clouds in the sky. It doesn't work. So no way. All of us will have a job for the rest of our life. The first ones to go are long distance over the road drivers with the longest hauls. That's the first one to go. It's the easiest for an automated truck to do. Supposed to start at Magnum on the 24th. A flight and your own room. What's up with that? Flight? A flight on a bus? Right. Your own room. You don't have to share your room with 3 other people like at CRST. Wow. Mr. Omaha, what's going on out there? Am I looking younger? How do I do it? It's crazy. I mean, you go to one age and you just go backwards from there. Trucking is what keeps you young. Mississippi is pretty today. Oh, nice. Gorgeous day in Massachusetts, sunny with a chance of DOT. I didn't have any problems. And there was actually an article that hardly any drivers saw that much more issue last week during the 72-hour thing. So did anybody see any problems? I didn't have any problems. Tina, a lot of drivers that pick up the bobtailed loads out of Laredo and delivery room through the United States had to take a crackhound back to get their next load. and it's out of pocket. Well, forget that. Oh, so they're picking up the trucks, right? Is this what you're talking about? They're delivering the trucks themselves, like these Freightliners that are proudly made in Hermosillo or whatever it says on the sticker on my truck. Long Island, New York, with a 53-foot flatbed. That's just sounds like a great day. I mean, that sounds like the best day ever. I saw Schuster in Washington in Snoqualmie Pass. That's awesome. You know, he's going to get some miles out of there when he picks up his Apple load or whatever they get out of there today. Hey, Mark. Andrew sent a message about Martin. Yeah, at orientation, we're doing lots of videos. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's these orientations. They just have tons of videos, and I appreciate all that stuff that you sent there. They pay even more than I thought they did, so that's even better yet. It looks like I just got up. I've been up. I'm up early on Monday. Headed to Augusta, Georgia. I've been freaked out about not being able to get on time, really. I was clicking and clicking. Free burrito. The free burritos make the 3 bunks ripe. Yeah, that is something, right? The burrito deal in the 3-bunk truck, that's something. You finally turned K-Dub finally turned 21 and been driving since you turned 18. You can be the CEO of England right now with that kind of experience. That's pretty good. So what are you going to do? No, seriously, what are you going to do now? You spent longer than 5 hours at Tyson loading dock. They ran out of product and had to stay the night. They go, well, we ran out of product. And did you hear a bunch of chickens in the back squawking? Brock? And then it was quiet. And then you started getting loaded. Paying drivers to write reviews. Jay, I don't know. I want to know, does anybody have any Western Express information where they're giving people a 2-cent raise to write reviews? Somebody suggested it, that they heard it. I looked, and there are tons of 5-star reviews lately for them, and there's no way that would happen from them. Because when you go back a month or two, it's all 1-star. So something happened there. Maybe they gave everybody a raise, and we just don't know about it. I'm 18 and officially start school next week. Wow, that's really something. 18 and truck school. What do people think about that? I think that's pretty awesome. You're a trainer. Frank is a trainer at JB Hunt. How's that going? 89,000 gross to Savannah ports. Yikes. How'd you sneak that down there? Go to college. No, I don't ever, other than being a doctor or a lawyer, I don't recommend people go to college, really. Most of the people that I know go to college. They don't make any more money than anybody else. Go out and what I recommend you do, go do what you want to do with your life. You know, what do you want to do, not what everybody else wants you to do. That's what we all did, right? Me too included. Oh, go get a job. Go work for the man. Go a regular job your whole life, and then when you're 73, they'll give you a watch, and then you die in a year. And that's no way to live a life. Certainly, most of us would go back and change that, including me. Steel horse, right? But you're going to get paid 5.5 hours pay for the stop at detention, $130 exactly. That's how it should be, right? You're going to get half a day's pay. You're there for a half a day. You're going to get some pay for sitting there. So it's not too bad, other than you have to hear all the chickens being murdered in the background, I guess. You're not picking up at Amazon. I'm picking up a double a cheeseburger and steak and shake at McClure's on my way to Louisville. Oh, all right. Cash is king trucking, right? Not that far from me. Hang out a few hours. I'll be headed that way. Oh, probably not because of the construction coming back, right? I'll probably go a different way now. You're on the Family Dollar account training. How is that going? TRRT. Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon. Yes, afternoon here. DOT here in Maine is out hard today. I heard that a lot of places the DOT comes out after the inspection, so they're kind of light on the inspection and get after because drivers kind of let their guard down. But I've always said about these inspection days and that, it should go good every day. You should be ready every day for an inspection, no matter what day it is. That's why my truck is in the shop, because it's having problems, and so I'm not driving it. So that's what everybody should do, really. Frank said it's 140 degrees in the trail. That's when you get the trainee in there. Steak and shake is horrible. Oh, no. Their hamburgers are really, really thin. If you can hold up the patty to light and see through it, that's really thin. Mark says, stay away from Family Dollar and Dollar General accounts unless you're a personal injury attorney. There's a lot of work on them. There's no question about that. But some people like doing the work. It keeps you in better shape or whatever. Absolutely, But no going in that it's a workout. Covenant East Coast Family Dollar. Yikes. Massachusetts State Police were out in force last week. Yeah, don't they have the best uniforms? They look like security guards. Even inspecting yesterday on Sunday. That's horrible. To your article's credit, I was not inspected once. Good. good, just be normal when you're going by there. But even if you're inspected, right, you should always be ready for an inspection. If your truck's got problems, get it fixed. And if your company won't fix the problems, that really says something. I made $100,000 last year as an owner-operator, nice. But this year the miles were scarce and need money to pay the bills and take care of the family. So I went back to being a company driver. No mile shortage. That's something that they don't have a mile shortage. ATBS says, and this is the company that does taxes for owner-operators. This is for over 3,000 of them so far they averaged. And the average taxable adjusted gross after expenses is $52,180 this year for owner-operators. $1,000 a week. I will say in 2017, this is for 18. For 2017, it was $43,093, so it's up $9,000. So not bad. So owner-operators year over year were up. So there you go. Glenn got green lighted at every scale. That's awesome. So they weren't even really pulling people in. New York DOT is heavy on 95-287 at the Connecticut line. They're pulling over trucks as they cross the border. Yeah, we'll get you when you come down here. Seeing if you're hauling any cigarettes. Cherry are running now. No apples yet. Oh, okay. Cherries are running now. They freeze them. I picked them up in January. I'm like, where'd these come from? Oh, we freeze them and thaw them. Like, oh, those got to be delicious. Cascadia will recognize pedestrians and adaptive crews starting at the end of year. Really? That'd be something. My adaptive crews can't even recognize a car half the time. Why doesn't it not recognize the rain and it turns off in the rainstorm? It doesn't make any sense. Hey, what's going on, Gil? Tina bobtail fresh off of Navajo. Right. So they're bobtailing, but it depends how much you made, whether it's worth going back. Can you tow a car? Would that be a better idea? Columbus, South Carolina to Dayton, Ohio for ABP. That's awesome. My landing gear broke. The right leg didn't go down. What'd you do about that? Holy moly. At least you saw that. Some people don't walk around and see it. Yikes. Gil, I'm awesome. Well, appreciate that. We will, that could pin that comment later. Print it out. Tom, hey, what's going on? Oscar, they hired a bunch of foreign people to leave good reviews. Oh, you know what? And, I don't know if I want to say that. It seems racist, but it's not really racist. Here's the thing. The comments did seem like they were written by somebody that doesn't know English. They had that stuttering, the way the comments, I like, this is good place, that kind of thing, where it seemed like it was written by people that didn't speak English. So I kind of agree with you. I kind of do agree with you. There are a lot of them. It's from a script, but it's in poor English, so I kind of agree. Maybe they did that. You can buy comments. There's tons of places where you can buy likes, you can buy comments, you can buy subscribers, you can do all that stuff online. You can do all of that. So yeah, you can buy them by the thousands. Yep, that's a true story. Be afraid of the burrito after the effects in the 3-bunk truck. That's the problem with giving England drivers burritos. Well, what info do I have on Black Horse? Think about going there. Look, Black Horse is different in each city. Now, I've talked to Black Horse here in Lafayette when they came here, and it was a daily pay here. So because they were hauling some kind of milk, some kind of grocery milk, and you got paid $250 a day, and then you got $350. I think it was $300 or $350 on Saturday if you wanted to work Saturday. So, and it was just a drop and hook 10-hour day. Each thing that they do is different. They're a logistics company. Just depends what they do in your town. The insurance was good, so I assume it's the same where you are because it'd be the same company. You saw a hotshot with a 40-foot flatbed pulled over on the New York Parkway. Wonder how bad that ticket was. Yeah, if they weighed him, that's a problem. This guy's with a, using an F-350 or whatever, pulling 6-car, wedge. You can't, no way, right? What if he doesn't have a CDL? Just imagining the Sierra England burritos or tortillas filled with Alpa. Oh, my God, I thought they were like a food truck burrito. So they're the ones actually doing it, but I don't think they would have Alpo. They'd have like Aldi food. They wouldn't even buy name brand food. Okay, Bob, you have an overweight permit for that container. All right, I was wondering, what the heck are we doing 90 grand here? Illinois police confirmed that a suspect has been arrested from that shooting at the truck stop. Yeah, did you see that is this the same one I'm thinking about where it's a USA truck, or is this a different shooting? A neighbor eye doctor's in debt for $540,000. That's crazy. Most college debt, where you go get a degree in ancient 1850 art history, not that useful. If I checked out Garner Trucking, a friend just quit them, and they expected her to run without being paid when she was empty. Oh, that's awesome. The thing is, if they tell you that up front, then, and you go there, you then can't really complain that much about it. That's the thing of it. If they say, all right, we don't pay empty miles, and you still work there, you then gripe about it later and quit. I don't know about that. Is that their policy at Garner Trucking of deadhead miles are free, like Z Transportation is over there on the East Coast? 60 cents a mile, but empty miles are free. Do you think the pilot program is going to pass for us younger drivers? Yeah, I think so. I do think it is going to pass for you. Maybe not by the time that you get your license, by the time you would be past it at 21. But yeah, I absolutely think that's going to go through. The ATA is very powerful, and they will get it through, absolutely. There's not going to be that many, so you'll be one of the few and the proud that go do it. Keep being the milkman. Love your job, and the pay is great. Yeah, so well worth it, right? So that's interesting. Keep being the milkman, right? So the milkman, perfect. As long as you love the job. I just wondered if you would change over the road or if you're going to change companies. So stay where you are if you like it. That's half of the battle in your life. Company drivers can now exploit 18-year-olds. Yeah, they'll be able to exploit younger people. That's awesome. Instead of exploiting adults, they'll still exploit adults, just younger adults. GSXR, greetings from Texas, headed to the border to pick up cattle. Oh, so we import cattle? We don't have enough cattle here? All recommendations on couples training companies. I know you know. Yeah, couples training, Covenant does a lot of that. It's not a great place to go. But, I mean, if the two you want to train together, I think they do a lot of that there. How's that three-bunk truck working out? I haven't heard too many complaints from people about it, but I don't know if they know to complain about it. They may just think that's the way it is. Western Express was inspired by sleazy car dealers that have been posting fake reviews. Well, yeah, it's not. I'm sure somebody had it in their head, but, they do have a lot of reviews in the last couple of weeks that are 5-star reviews. And I will say they're right that it's kind of halting English where it isn't great, but that doesn't mean anything. Maybe the person writing it doesn't know English. They do seem to be following a script. Does that prove anything? No. Am I saying they bought reviews? No, I don't know if they bought reviews. Probably not. I don't know. But it seems curious that suddenly they're getting 5-star reviews all over the place. So, and there's now talk that they're giving a raise for it. I'd like more information about it. You like the Michigan State Troopers with the giant red cherry on top? I always wondered why they didn't change that, but they've left that thing up there. And that stupid thing on the hood, too, where they drill holes in their car. D&E Transportation, Trucking, and Earning the old green stamps. Oh, my God, the green stamps? I still have books of green stamps. For drivers that don't remember, you used to get green stamps and you filled up S&H green stamps. You'd fill book after book with them because you'd go fill your truck up and the guy would pull the thing down and 50 million green stamps would come out. And you could get like a TV set. All you need is like 18 billion green stamps. Yeah, it's a true story. Green stamps. I still have some books around here somewhere. Did you hear about that outlaw trucker they caught 23 years with no insurance? I know. Here's the thing. He didn't have any tickets or accidents in all that time. They finally got him. So you got to give him that for 2 million safe miles without a license. Not really. You run lots of 8490 corridor. Yikes. Staying up north. You hate hotshot truckers. They take all the parking places sometimes. A car to use at the DC, no cost. I think that's a good plan at Smith, to leave a car. It ought to be plastered with the company's name and logo on it to keep you and say, if we ever get a call that somebody's doing burnouts, that's a problem, Greetings from Pittsburgh, Indiana, TJ Jones and the Bull of the Woods. A nice name there. Usually here to leave a good review for a free blue parrot. Oh, that's a good idea. We could leave a good review for a blue parrot, right? And see what Blue Parrot thinks about that. Maybe they'll implement that policy soon. We can only hope. Western Express views may have been made by their CS department. There's a lot of different people at Riverbend Prison. It would take them time to get on the internet, I guess. I'll be at orientation at H.O. Wolding, Cub Scout, next week in Amherst, Wisconsin. Was hoping you'd contact and review them one day. Yeah, let me know what you think about the place. Now that you're going there, they're bought by, Bison or whatever. They just got bought out. So ask them what type of currency you'll be paid in. How will the automated trucks paid the lumper? Well, the lumper will be like an Amazon where you'll be unloaded by a robot also. You had, Kim had a 4-day home time schedule from the 14th to the 18th, but plans fell through. So you're going to take the 19th and 20th off, but stay in the truck. Get this, they said they'll rent you a car to use during your time off. That's even better. That's pretty good. Tell them you want the upgrade to the luxury car. That is really good of them, though. You know, it's funny. Some companies won't even rent you a car to come to them or want you an employee there. So this is a huge difference in trucking, that you get company to company. And so if you're not being treated well, that's why I always encourage people, call around. It doesn't cost anything to call around and find a better place. No trucks on the Parkway, expressways only. That's true. Western Express, most of their drivers can't speak English. Well, Western Express is known as a second chance company, and I send people there. If you have a lot of felonies or whatever and need to get back into trucking, they'll probably take you. So that is that, even though the pay is low. But this paying for reviews and that, if Indeed or whatever found out about that, they'll boot you off of there. Any advice on health insurance for an owner? I've not looked into it that much. I'm not an owner-operator. I don't own a truck. There are some on here. Maybe they can help out with that. It's expensive. I know I looked into buying the insurance that I have here just because people say, oh, I make more than a company driver. So I wanted to see what the expenses would be. And the policy I have is about $1,856 a month. That's provided by my company. So that's one thing. But they had all different kinds of plans. Leonidas, happy Monday. Have you heard anything about Leonard's Trucking? They advertise all the way to Idaho. No, who the heck is Leonard? Make a Covenant crap of the week. I would like to know what I think. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Covenant, but they're one of the only places I know that would do two people like that. Anytime Towing is in the house. What's up? Survived the blitz with only a written warning and a verbal, no real inspection. That's more than a lot of people got. They commented this week that not much happened. A lot of drivers said nothing was really going on. So they must have all only been bothering you because I didn't see anything really happening. You're one of the first people that had a problem. It seemed to be state by state. Some states were really serious about it, but most of them seemed to pass on it. A while ago, your truck had to get fixed from Thursday to Monday and had no loads. They told you I couldn't get paid because you were at home. Is that legal? Yeah, it's legal. It's certainly legal that they don't have to pay you because you're at home. I'll tell you, if you're broke down, they should pay you. Is it legal? Yes. There's no minimum wage or anything in trucking due to the Fair Labor Standards Act, so they legally don't have to pay you. Absolutely. But, you can say, look, you're going to pay me or, I can leave because it's kind of ridiculous. It's not fair. Just because you're home, you would have been working, they ought to pay you. What's a fair day's flat rate pay? Well, it depends where you are and stuff like that. But, you need to get a decent wage for what you're doing. $20 to $25 an hour. I would think at least it should average that much. I was selected for salary position. Congratulations, Jared. You're on salary. $200 a day, maximum of 10, home daily. That's not terrible, I guess, pending what you're doing. I wouldn't want to unload. But 10 hours, $200,000 a week. As long as you're not unloading, if it's a drop and hook, I'm in, Because, look, some people, oh, Mark, we got to make 100, 150,000. I think drivers over the road should make 100,000, but I'm not all about the money. I would rather that you had a job that you like, that gets you home when you want, and you may have to sacrifice money for that. Like, I don't work that much at work, so most of you probably watching this make more money than I do because I take a job where I don't work that much, so I can do a lot of other things. It depends what you want to do. Everything is a trade-off. Everything's a trade-off. So $200 for 10 hours, if it's an easy job, you're home every day, and that's enough money for you, I'm in, If you can't live on that, if your mortgage is $1,900 a month and your car payment, like somebody just got a truck payment for $705 at work, oh my God, for a pickup truck, $700. Oh my gosh. Did I see that presidential candidate Andrew Yang was talking about trucking automation? In an interview with Dave Rubin. I don't know who Dave Rubin is. He said it'll happen in 5 years. Oh, he's crazy. 5 years. He rode around in a truck. Look, that guy's a nutball. Anyway, I'm not an Andrew Yang fan, okay? And I don't like to do too much politics on here. He's the one that wants to give you $1,000 a month to every American 18 to 65. Not a fan of that. Automation. Does he think trucking full automation will be 5 to 10 years? No way, right? No way. You're still collecting green stamps and Marlboro miles. Where are you going to turn these green stamps in? Cassius King Trucking. Come hang out. You'll buy me dinner. All right, where are you? Right. I told my kids you're going to start a click farm and write fake reviews for companies so they have something to do during vacation. You already got your first client. Yeah, that's pretty good. You could make some money doing that because there were a lot of reviews. I'm like, wow, there's 10 reviews posted in one day that are good like this. Tom says private hazmat care at $28.50 an hour, time and a half after 40. Dedicated route, that's pretty good, average 60 hours a week. So, I mean, there you go. That's 60 hours. It's almost $1,800 a week. Nice. Oh, time and a half after 40, it is over $1,800 a week. Right. So what's wrong with that? None of this will matter when robots take over. No, because they'll kill all of us. WV Marcus from Huntington, West Virginia. Tina likes green stamps. I got books of them. What the heck do you do with them? I saw, I like going to antique stores, and there was, 100 full books of green stamps down there one time. They were like $1 a book. I thought, oh, I'm going to get these, and I thought, what am I going to do with them? Glenn, the next week you broke down and got $350 for 3 days, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. That's the thing. Only make $800 or $1,000 a week and haul heavy haul doesn't seem like good money. If you're gone from your house, that is not good money. Okay, $800 to $1,000 is not great money. $120 a day for 3 days is better than a lot of places don't pay you anything at all. They just have a policy even if you're out. $800 to be gone is $40,000. That's that's not great. You can do better if you call around. Do you like the job though? I mean, do you really like it? You got to really like it for $800 a week. OIDA has good insurance. All right, yeah, I didn't even think about that, even though I'm a member, and you should be too. Drivers sign up for health insurance within 45 days, even the pre-existing, right, because that's part of Obamacare, ironically. Peterbilt is to discontinue the 389. Okay, 389 is gone. My landing gear braking held you 2 hours, didn't make your delivery. They ought to pay you something. You should have breakdown pay for that, see? You need to, Kim needs a side hustle. 50 and they can hire you for $50 an hour. That's awesome. Just clicking, right? Amazon lumber paid in Bitcoin. Barry bought a couple more this year and was told we got 2 glider kits in the fleet. Oh, that's for veterans that what? They'll only drive a glider kit? Yikes. You took the week off last week, turntable. So what did you do? Eric got a scholarship. Oh, that's pretty interesting. I still don't even know if college is worth it if you get a scholarship. I'll tell you that. How many months experience? That's a good question. Does Glenn have Yang? He's part of the Yang gang. Oh, does he have a thing now? Oh my gosh, I need a thing. Yang gang. That's pretty good. That's kind of tricky though, depending how you're using it. It was crazy out. Chase cars every station. Where you are, I guess. I ran to California. Really? Florida and back home. So the East Coast was. So the East Coast is where all this problem was going. That's something. It was state by state. Here, nothing happened. Scales closed. Nothing going on. Nothing at all. I guess they're too busy fixing all the roads because that's why our roads are glass smooth here. C.R. Engel will do couples as they got 3 bunks. Yeah, you could go there. But call around. You have 3 years towing it with a non-CDL. I got your CDL in January. So you're getting some time in. Salary or hourly, sick of miles pay. I agree. You should get a guarantee. I think you should get hourly or some kind of guarantee. Everybody should. Miles is just a way to hose everybody. There's no need for it anymore. Kim has some good idea here. All drop and hook and no unload. Yeah, so you're just dropping hook 10 hours. Easy job. You got yourself into a super easy job for $1,000 a week. No problem, right? As long as that's okay with you, then it's a good job for you. $1,000 a week for not much work, not bad. Especially when it's a guaranteed pay. JB has been good to you home weekly, about $90 a year, just really hot in the trailer. Well, you got a student, make them go back there, right? Well, I'm stuck here for 1 year, 2 months because of tuition. Here's the thing about tuition. If you're making $800 a week, and say you go somewhere else and make $1,200 a week, that's $400 a week, right? $20,000 in 1 year. So if it's enough of a jump, just leave and pay the tuition yourself or go somewhere that has tuition reimbursement. So there are ways to get out of it rather than losing $20,000 to pay $5,000 of tuition. You're still better off just paying it out of your own check, maybe, if you get enough of a raise. So then you can still come out ahead on the tuition. Now, check out the reimbursement from the state. I didn't know they would reimburse after the school. Maybe. It's worth a call. Greetings from the T in Bloomsburg night. Leaving for Middlefield for a load to California. Oh, across the country. That's the way to cruise, right? Kim is saying, right, you'll make more than enough to pay the bill back. That's the thing. If you go make more, way more, you can just pay the bill yourself and be money ahead. The average American is paying $50 for a pickup in the USA. I agree. This pickup this guy got here was like $62,000. Now, I sat in it. It's super nice. Okay, it's super nice. But, man, I'm not paying $700 a month for a car. Holy moly. How many hours you got? Of course, he works 14 and a half hours a day or whatever, 16 hours, whatever they work. Loves in Pittsburgh because he's always there. That's why I say it. I come to work, it's there. I go home, it's there. I come back to work, it's still there. Loves in Pittsburgh on I-74 on 61 west of Indy. All right. Not far from me also. Everybody's closing in. Health insurance for owner-operators. Usually it's best to shop through the state's marketplace. All right, so there's a owner-operator that has very good advice. Kim left England after 2 weeks. What did they do to you? Have they bothered you with calls or anything like that? That's a good question, right? Because I actually got a letter from somebody again that about England. You know, what are they going to do if they leave? What did they do to you? Anything? Did they come with the CR England card to your house? What happened? Read, understand English, federal law. Can these companies get away with it? That's correct. No one in FMCSA held a CDL. That's true. The Western Express reviewers don't have to speak English. That's for sure. You'll check them out. Might like to switch to curtain van or reefer. Oh, I had a curtain side van. I like that thing. When they weren't that card, you can make Uber with. You could. No, you can't make. The pickup truck is not qualified for Uber here in this state, so he couldn't make any money doing that. Because at least here in Indiana, you can't Uber in a pickup truck. When they weren't, President Trump must do something about the way to pay, how to pay to truckers. Mile pay is not fair. We need some relief. Well, okay. Well, owner operators paid only $1,000 more in taxes. That's interesting. So the ATBS trucker tax service said that owner operators grossed $9,000 more, but only paid $1,000 more in taxes, and their effective rate went down. This is for owner operators from 19.1% to 17.8%. So the taxes went down. And mile pay, that it's not fair. The government in the United States, we can't do anything about that. We can do something about that, mileage pay. So that we're the ones that have to do something about our own pay. The government can't say you don't get to pay people by the mile. It isn't fair. I agree it isn't fair. It's us to change it. It's us. And some places change it. I've had places that pay hourly. Some pay a salary. There's different ways to do it. And some places are moving to different ways to pay you. But and I don't like it. I agree. But we have to change it. You drive a dump truck and make $1,200 a week. There's your $400 right there, just driving a dump truck around. With Swift, you have an opportunity for a variety of type of loads. Yeah, I've always said that, Reverend, about larger companies, is that you can always change within the company, and it seems like you're changing companies. You're doing something totally different. TJ Jones, your Dodge is $675 a month. That just is a killer to me. I mean, that's just, I'm sure it's super nice inside. Okay, don't get me wrong. But, man, I mean, that is a lot of money a month for a car. So you can get a fully loaded Durango right now for $400 a month for 5 years, heated, cooled seats, $400 a month for 5 years would only be $24,000. 60 months for $400 is $24,000. So I think they're more than that, right? That's what you make OTR in your second year. I bought a 2013 F-150 in October for $21. That's interest was 14, credit was horrible. Your payments are $610. Oh, but it's only 36 months. So that's better. At least it's only 3 years. I mean, we're out here 6-7 years out here. Your 20 is a Shippensville, Pennsylvania I-80 and exit 60, so you're not that close. Is 53 too old to start? No. There's no age limit, really. I guess if you're 83 and in a wheelchair or whatever, you may have a tough time. But seriously, many people, and people on here even started in their 50s, no problem. One person wrote to me was 57, no issues at all. You can start anytime you want to drive. As long as you can pass the physical, you won't have any issues getting a job. People will hire you. So 53, get out there and get in that truck immediately. Go start school right now today, after the show. Sierra England actually didn't. You'll do fine. Believe me, you'll do fine. Sierra England actually didn't even believe me when I sent the Qualcomm message and got off the truck. They kept you on payroll for 2 months. They gave you $200, but is that all they did to you? Tax laws are definitely set up for business owners. Exactly. Cash is king trucking. You're rolling in it out there. For something I didn't even do, I was already working at G&P out of Columbia. So they haven't came after you, letters, nothing. Required part of driving school should be fuel island rules. Yeah, one rule should be do not park for your half-hour break at the fuel island. Do not wander around looking at the medieval gear and the loves, even though it's fascinating. I saved all the money they've given me for tuition, so that it happens, I'll give it all back. That's interesting. That's an interesting way to do it. Just tell them to get lost. I think the big where did I go off to? Right, hard part of driving. Okay, I went to Sierra England in February of 2017. On the 7th day being there, you got your CDL. 2 days later, did orientation, got your hard copy. I got on a plane and went home and got your hard copy. Exactly. That was as long as anybody want to stay there. I think the big problem is that 105.5, so I can go all 48 states. Only 400 miles today, and load isn't ready yet. That's not great. I'm 105.5, so you can go all 48 states. Well, 400 miles today, and it's only 1 in the afternoon. I mean, that's not terrible. Figure $20 for every $100 financed. Oh. Speed limiters on trucks, about speed limiters on cars. I agree. All this safety stuff. If it's a safety issue, why isn't it on cars? Oh, you can't have high blood pressure and drive. Well, then why don't car drivers have to have their blood pressure tested? Why don't car drivers need a sleep apnea test? You know, you can be 90 years old and buy a converted Greyhound 45-foot bus, RV, and tow a gigantic trailer with a car license. Why is that legal? But I got to get a CDL if I have a pickup truck and have to put a hazmat placard on it. It doesn't make any sense. Put that out to car drivers. See what they think about having to take a sleep apnea test. See what they say about that. If you're going to refrigerated, award Werner, avoid Jan or Schugel, or JCT also. I don't know much about Prime. I've heard some good and bad. It seems to be up and down. If you want long haul, go ShipX. I love ShipX. There are 5,000 to 7,000 feeder cattle a day, 3 to 5 days a week, loaded at the border going to Texas. We don't have our own cattle. The 3 plants in Texas, Panhandle, process 15,000 heads of fats a day. Aren't there enough cattle in Texas? I don't know anything about cattle. All Sierra England does is send letters for about a year and nothing else. Oh, okay. So after a year, they just leave you alone. They go, well, you're out of the system. Am I going to have dinner or what? Yeah, I'm still working here. I keep getting cards in the mail from the local Nissan dealer that says they do 72-month financing. Yeah, they do. Go get you a Leaf on 72 months. Al started at 43. See, that's not bad either, right? You're starting at 43. 53 is no problem. No problem at all. Any news about the hours of service? Okay, I came on live Friday about this. And the hours of service, which they were going to announce Friday, and I said I'd be live, and so I did go live, surprising everyone that I was actually there. They postponed it. And so nothing today. Every day they postpone it is a delay in the actual date, because it was supposed to be July 26th that they would actually get was going to be the date. Every day that we move back here is a day back after July 26th. Nothing yet. The target now, he said, is June. He goes, we're going to target June as an announcement. As soon as the announcement, I'll have something out about it. But they haven't done anything more than that. They put on your credit report the loan. So you either had to pay it off or have bad credit forever. Really? You know, why don't you dispute it and say, well, of course, I guess you probably signed for it. Still make them work for it. Do I think local drivers make as much as over-the-road guys? Yeah, I think so, because you don't have any expenses of living on the road. And again, it isn't the money. What kind of life do you want? If you want to live on the road, which I did for decades, right, you can do that. It's no problem. It's just a different life. But local, you make as much because you don't have expenses of living and you're home every day. So it depends what you want to do. I've had the highest pay I've ever seen somebody actually prove to me is a local driver for Old Dominion at $136,000. So that's the highest I've ever seen, in proof money. So not bad. David, you're late. Thank you for being here. Brown butter, I'm going to call it like that. Glad to hear that 53 isn't too old. You're going to ask if 43 is too old. No. 53, no. The only way you're too old is if you can't physically do the job. So if you can do the job, which is not like physical labor, you can do it, no problem. The hardest part of my job is probably cranking legs in the wintertime. So, but some jobs take a lot of work. You may not want to unload trailers when you get in your 50s. I'm not sure. Trucker Hershey started at 57. See, now, no problem. So if you're in any kind of decent shape, you could pass a physical, you can do the job. No problem. And you will get hired, certainly. Debt is poison. Don't fall for it. Well, $700 a month. I can't fall for that. Yikes. Oh, you meant you can't do 48 states. Sierra England or CRST, Virgo, neither. There's no option C on that one. Tom averages 1,800 a week with weekends off. Private cares are the way to go. You just have to hunt and search for them. They're all over the place. I mean, Ken's salad dressing down in Lebanon by you, Cash is King, is advertising for drivers right now. Free health insurance. I mean, there's all kinds of private carriers that want drivers. It's not in your credit report if you call them anytime they settle for $1,000. I didn't do that. Well, anything on your credit report, I'm not a credit expert. Presumably, I assume you can settle for on there. Say, I'll give you this much, and if they agree to it, then it's settled. Cross rockets need limiters. That's the whole fun of it, right? I had a Yamaha VMAX many years ago, and that thing was fast then. It's probably still fast now is what it would be. I haven't driven a motorcycle for many years. Sierra England offered you a deal to $1,000 to pay the school off. It's almost like extortion. Oh, hey, if you give us $1,000, we'll pay it off. Like Dave Ramsey would say, get it in writing in advance. Make sure they put that in writing and keep that paperwork for the rest of your life. That is a quote from Mr. Dave Ramsey. Swift trainer doing it right. The student is backing with 3 spaces on each side of him without trucks in them. That's how you train. Right? Why are you backing in next to people? I got paid 50 cents a mile loaded or unloaded. I have a paper log truck. Speed is ungoverned and a 95 Freightliner. Oh, so you'll get to continue on your paper logs on an old truck with a Series 60 Detroit. Wow. The Dave Ramsey plan, I don't finance hardly anything. 72-month car note sounds like a noose around my neck. Yes. On an expensive car, I mean, look, if you want a $700 a month truck, be my guest. I just think it's super a lot of money. And because of that, he's got to work. He takes a really long route, and he's gone all the time. He might as well be over the road. And so he's just working to pay a car payment to drive to work to make money to pay the car payment. So that's what I'm saying. He's like in a circle, literally driving in a circle back and forth to his house to pay a car payment to go to work. Doesn't make any sense. And he's always complaining, what else you got to do? Stuff, because he needs the money to pay all the payment. And so eventually that is no good. Trans Am's been calling you. They have nice trucks. Are they a good starter company? No. No Trans Am. If you borrow money, pay it back. I too agree with that. No to Trans Am. Steel Horse is in on that before me. Alex, coming in late. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon. Got late. Didn't miss too much. No. Glad I could bless you with my presence. Thank you for coming, Ryan. I appreciate it. Please comment on the fact that no one from FMCSA has had a CDL. All right. And wouldn't pull teeth if not qualified. I agree. That people in the government should have a CDL. They should be drivers if they're going to work in the FMCSA. Absolutely. Absolutely. The people that are running the agencies, whatever it is, should have experience in that type of field, whatever it is. So that'd be like the Surgeon General not being a doctor, saying, well, I watch ER on TV. That's not good enough. Probably these people have all seen Moving On. That's it. Paul, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I'd rather buy an older pickup and just fix it up. Well, be my guest, fix it, whatever. Like I always say, I buy certified used cars. They're way cheaper and they still have a lot of life left in them. The $700 is more than I want to go on a car payment, believe me. Working LTL Teamster jobs, how long should you stick it out? Well, being on call, if not much work. It's tough starting off. How long should you stick with it? Well, if work is slow. I thought, all right, so I haven't done this just not long after I started driving. I applied at Roadway, which is now YRC, and they hired me. This is in Sauk Village or whatever that is in Illinois, just south of Chicago. And I came in for orientation, and they said, starting out, we cannot guarantee you when you will work. And it was a 2-hour call-in, and they considered leaving a message on your answering machine with the cassette tape in it as you answering the phone. And if you didn't come in, you were fired. But they couldn't guarantee when you would get a job, a schedule. But they did guarantee me 40 hours a week. They go, well, you will get 40 hours. We just don't know when it is. So are they not doing that anymore? And I didn't take it because I'm an idiot, I guess, but because I wasn't doing anything else. But I'm like, I don't want to be on call or whatever. I'm a free spirit, so I didn't do it. But that's how it worked many years ago. It's probably 1990 maybe. Waiting for load a number, now 3 hours. That's ridiculous. Hopefully you're getting paid for that. I hate living on the road and in your truck. Luis, yeah, well, go get a local job. I mean, here's the thing. if you hate your job, go get a different job. That life can't just be going to work and hating your job, right? So if you're doing something you don't like, go do something else. AZ started 7 years ago at 48, and I'm in public school, so you're like 51 now. It's because I went to public school. So, but still, you started in your 40s, no problem getting a job, passed the physical, you got it made. Go do it if you want to. Were they very serious about owing them $73.50? Wow. And they'll settle for $1,000 because they know maybe $1,000 they might get. Don't go to Trans Am unless you want bankruptcy. Yeah, it won't be a good plan. People call it trans scam for a reason. According to South Carolina, they told me you don't have to speak English to get a CDL. You do. It's federal law. You have to speak English, converse in English to get a CDL. Tomorrow marks your 2-year CDL anniversary. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. If your wife gets you a dog, you can stay out there. Is that how you do it? Honda savvy? Is your wife telling you something? Here's a dog. Why don't you stay gone for a while? Nathan, the detention pay. Yeah, detention pay. The FMCSA wants to know your opinion about detention pay. So in the description of this video is the link to go give them your comments. They want to know, how long should you wait? What is the average wait time? Is there a good way to keep track of wait time? What can be done to reduce wait time? All those questions, and they're all listed there. The docket number is all in that. Click on it. All the information is the FMCSA gives you. You have 60 days starting right now to go give them your opinion. And they want to know, look, how long should you wait? They said, don't just tell us 5 minutes, 1 minute. They want to know why you are saying this amount of time. And so be thoughtful on them. Don't call them a bunch of names and stuff because they probably will just disregard your opinion. There were only 5,000 people that commented on the last thing. This should be 500,000 people. Everybody, it's free to comment. Go give them your opinions. Have I heard about Minstar? I have heard a little about Minstar. Well, I work at a local gig for Smith pulling Walmart. Yes, you made $1,000 in 3 days. I know you do real good there. They treat you awesome and have a pay bump on the weekends. I love that they pay more on the weekends. If I ever to Prime Logistics, how are they different than Prime? And what's going on, Adco? It's good to see you out here. You're 55, drove for 20 years, took 10 years off. Going back to work next month. Welcome back to the industry. Would you tell carriers on the app you have a minor accident, but it's not on the MVR because you exchanged insurance? All right. So, would I tell them about an accident? Is it on your DMV report? Yes or no? And does the company have a record of it that you worked for? That if it was in a truck, yes or no? And if it was in a car and it's not on your DMV and there's no police report, would I tell them? No, I wouldn't tell them because that's what they're going to pull to find it out. So I know 3 other people went through and none of us paid anything. They sent a letter for tax time. That's when it did. When did you? Oh, they sent you a letter for your taxes. Did they 1099 you on the amount as if they're forgiving it? That's like a creditor. I love it. Ryan likes Dave Ramsey, working on paying your debts. You don't have too much more to go. Yeah, so $700 truck is probably not on the Dave Ramsey idea. For the Secretary of Education that never went to public school, exactly. All private school, and now she's in charge of the public schools. I love that. Talking about your personal vehicle, because if so, it doesn't matter. Right. If it's not on your information, then what they don't know won't bother them. You got a 20-year-old GMC Jimmy to go to the truck and home for 2 injectors stuck open. Yep. So there's some junk boxes out there, and then there's some brand new cars out there. I'm just saying that working to buy a car to go to work doesn't seem like a good idea. That's what I'm saying. But what do I don't know anything. I'm not Dave Ramsey. Okay, so that's just my thoughts on getting a very expensive truck. Now, if you can make it, maybe your wife makes a lot of money or you have a lot of money, then be my guest, but that's all I'm saying. The $700 and then complaining you need to work more because you got to pay your truck payments so you can come to work. I don't think so. Heard a really good one from a Swift driver. Sure, we're insured for that. Oh, that's a good way to do it. That's pretty good. I'm on the Charlie Pride Highway. Al is great. If it's not on the deck or your MVR, then nope, it never happened. If it's not in writing, it never happened. I guess that's why I don't work at Roadway either, because you're a free spirit. Yeah, cash is king. Look, I'm 22 or whatever, 23 at that point. I'm like, No way am I going to sit around by the phone, because you had to have an answering machine then. There weren't all this fancy stuff, which some people don't remember. So I had a 2-cassette answering machine, and so if they called you, they considered that talking to you. So during the time you were available, you couldn't go anywhere. And I just didn't want to do that. Ironically, I didn't really go anywhere anyway. I guess I just didn't want to do it. WV's in the Teamster Union now for Republic Services Trash Company. Union, good for paying insurance, or for people that stick there, are always on call and get that job saved. If you like it, I would do the dumpster part of it, I think. Waste Management runs around here and runs ads all the time. I love in their ads, it says you may be exposed, how do they word it? You may be exposed to unpleasant sights, sounds, and smells. I love that. In 1990, did they have telephones? Oh, yeah, we had a phone for $7 you bought at Kmart, and you just sat it down and hung up because you didn't have a cradle for it, because that was like a $10 phone. And I did not have touch tone service yet. I still had pulse service, as they called it. ADM unload told an hour to unload. 4 hours later, you're empty. Drove 20 minutes up the road and another 4-hour reload. See, if you're being paid for that on the clock, this exact kind of thing is why I think drivers should be paid by the hour. Exactly kind of thing. Get paid by the hour and plus overtime. That's how it should be. And then this wouldn't be as big of a problem. You wouldn't mind it as much probably if you were getting paid properly for all that time. Had a driver in the yard the other day who's a Buddhist and had taken a vow of silence for a year in his driving. Well, that's going to be a problem when he goes to a shipper or whatever. I don't know how that'll work in his employment. Could he write stuff down maybe, or she, I guess, and give it to people and say, I'm silent? Enjoy your new career. If you'd like to know about companies, yeah, exactly. Rev, welcome back out here. Did a video on Min. I think I did a video on Minstar some time ago. I'm going to be updating those on my off time coming up because a lot of stuff changes. That's probably a year ago video. On the car, no police report. Not on your record. Personal vehicle. Yeah, that never happened. Prime Logistics says they pay Solo 62 cents a mile. They are not Prime. Why are they using Prime in their name? It's somehow there's something funny going on in that one. I'd have to look that up. Yamaha VMAX is your favorite motorcycle. Raise the speed limit and keep the 30-minute break. Yes, the 30-minute break is probably going to stay, unfortunately, the way it looks now, because the initial thing of that Transportation and Housing and Urban Development bill, that passed. So it's moving along, and it has a provision in there to keep the 30-minute break. So what it could happen is the FMCSA could cancel the break, and then this bill eventually passes, which will be later this year, which would reinstate the break. We'll see what happens. Nothing to do with your taxes. Okay, they just offer $1,000 tax special. Oh, I see. To pay their tuition, and he went to sea or England, and so don't stress that they can take your CDL. Yeah, don't worry. They can't take your license. People write to me a lot about that. If you have your license, it's your license. They don't get to write in and get it revoked or anything like that. That is your license, no matter how much money you owe them. You can owe them $3 billion. They cannot take that. Angelo's Motor Carrier LLC trucker. Nice. I'm the man. Keep it up. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Nathan says after an hour, and I kind of agree, an hour seems like a good time to be unloaded. If you have an appointment, and that's what I'm going to tell them. Look, if I get a 10 a.m. appointment, I expect them to be ready for me at 10. They set the appointment, and at 11, I should be leaving. And if they can't make that happen, then there should be pay going on. That's what I think about it, certainly. Michael bought that Jimmy 6 years ago for $1,000. Nice. Your wife gets the new car, and I take hers once Jimmy quits. Yeah, that's how I do it here, too. Whenever we exchange cars, she gets the new car and the newer car because I'm used, and then I take her car. So that's why I have the Trucking Answers Unit 1 is the Chevy Sonic. Sear England has billboards saying they're investing $30 million into drivers in pay. Yeah, big deal. How much are they investing in billboards? If you only had Trans Am and Western Express flatbed to choose, pick one. Oh, God. I go to work at Wendy's. They report accidents with commercial vehicles on your DAC if no police report, and everything is done in between companies. Anything that's on DAC or whatever, of course, you would have to report. That's why I always encourage people to pull that and your DMV before you apply somewhere, just to make sure there's nothing improper. Things can be put on there by mistake. The police can transpose a number. It can happen. They do that in Wyoming. They're having billboards for England. Well, I guess 80, so people go by there. If they're renting the phone from the phone company, oh my God, my grandfather rented his phone. None of you probably remember this because you're not in your extreme upper 30s, maybe a few of you. Used to be able to rent the phone from the phone company for $8 a month or whatever, and my grandfather rented his phone, gigantic black phones, rotary phones, which I have one here. In the apartment, I have a rotary phone that doesn't work. And he rented them from the phone company until the 80s. Even you could still buy your phone, but he would rent that, and they always touted, oh, well, it's free service. Nothing ever happened to the phone. It weighed 30 pounds. It was all metal. Right. Incredible. Yeah, I was still renting the phone. This was just the transition where you could buy your own phone. Trucker Ron started at 59. Wow, that is great. That's one of the oldest people I've had on here to start at 59. Did you have any problems getting started? What did companies say? Nothing to you? You worked at Sharkey for 2 months and gave up 15 hours a week in wait time. They say they pay detention time. I just don't understand it. A few years ago when I was renewing my hazmat, Arizona was providing Spanish translators. That is not right. Okay, there shouldn't be provided a translator. In my opinion, the government, everything should be done in English in the United States. But certainly for the CDL test, which is by law, English. You have to know English. You should certainly be able to pass the test in English. I would love to see a 2019 update video. Yeah, most of these large companies are going to get an update video. I think I'll have to do one every year because a lot of their policies change. So that stuff will be coming out. Your brother has a 2003 Elantra. Wow. He bought with 240,000 miles. Well, that's a bit beyond me. 6 years ago, and it has 360, and he got it for $1,000. That's the way to save money on a car. I put so few miles on my car, I would never get to that kind of miles on it. Trucker Ron thinks we need CBs. I agree. We need to help each other on the road with info and weather. Well, yeah. How about whether people are wearing their underpants? I hear that a lot. Also, having good conversation again would be cool, not just complaining about how others drive. Yes, that would be nice. That would be nice. But does that happen? Not often, right? Keith, greetings from Fort Bliss, Texas. Well, thanks for being here. Should PTL have to pay for on-duty time since they're based in Arkansas, where the judge ruled for drivers? Yeah, all companies should have to pay for on-duty time, PTL included. They're a horrible place, too, just like Pam, which is who we're talking about here. But, yeah, they should have to pay on-duty time. Unfortunately, that was a state judge, and that's going to go federal, and they're not going to have to pay it. Transportation is exempted from federal law, and Arkansas, of all places, is generally pretty employer friendly. So I'm surprised that it even went that way. It's never going to stick, though. If Walmart can charge $200 for being 10 minutes late, then I shouldn't sit for free. I agree. Why isn't it the reverse? Companies are all afraid, if we ask for money, we're not going to get paid. Who cares? Why do who cares? If you're not getting anything, what's the point of being there? Cash is king. You have 4 kids, really. So when we get a new car, we typically burn the old one. Yeah, it'll all burn from all the Cheerios stuck in the seats. Trucker Hershey is done with lunch and back on the road. It's windy. Yeah, a little bit today. Not bad. Nice day. Tomorrow's sunny, 78. They said beautiful. Glenn's got a 2016 Chrysler 300S Hemi. 25,000 miles and $250 a month. I'm 23 years old. That's better, right? Because you get it like that. Not bad. That's way better than $700, isn't it? What's the deal with Amazon and their 29-minute rule to be on and off their property? They won't let you inspect the trailer you're picking up? Oh, no. Really? How does that work? You're required by law to inspect it for picking it up. I don't know why they do 29 minutes. Does somebody sit there and... I haven't been to an Amazon warehouse, okay? Let's be honest about that. Does somebody sit there and watch you be there 29 minutes? And what happens if you're late over that? And tell them you're required by law to inspect it. So what happens if you're late? Blue Lion has to take the truck to the shop in Dallas for repairs. The mud flaps and bumper needs repair. Make them fix that stuff now that the inspection thing is over, right? I made a detailed video how to pull up your DAC on my channel. All right, that's interesting. I knew 2 guys are in their 70s. We have a couple, at least one guy who's in his 70s. He didn't start in his 70s. I think he started in the 1970s. Prime reefer rollover. That's interesting. Tyson Foods is from Arkansas, where I work for them. I never got any on-duty time or detention pay. Arkansas is very employer-friendly. That's the thing of it. Companies were concerned about safety. They'd consider hourly pay as opposed to mileage, which only encourages the driver speed. Right. Pay by the hour and watch how many drivers run. Everybody would run the speed limit. If you got paid by the hour, you'd log everything legal. If you only got paid for on-duty time, I bet you'd sit at the dock on duty. You got a 99 Yukon for $1,800 at 270,000 and now 328. Man, you people are rolling a lot of miles on your trucks. And of course, it's Blue Parrot break time. Everybody should go get a Blue Parrot, of course, as we say. And don't forget, on the 20,000 subscriber show, we'll be giving away a Blue Parrot 450, and I will have other things as well there on that show. So there'll be gift cards, and this was suggested by an astute viewer, and I think it's a good idea. What I'll do is pick some of the subscribers out of all 20,000 people at that show. I have a program. They, of course, have a program that can pick random subscribers for gifts, gift cards, that kind of thing. So if you're in on the, you will not have to even be on that live show for that. The headset will be given away live, among other gift cards and stuff. But I'm going to pick some subscribers, which is a good idea, from the people that have subscribed over the couple of years at this point, of the 20,000, to also get gift cards and everything. Just saying thank you, everybody. Really, for being here. I do appreciate it. So that's how that's going to work as we get closer to 20,000, which is coming up soon around the corner. So there you go. I believe if we got an hourly rate for every minute we waited, the wait times would drop. Exactly. Wouldn't your company be very interested in getting you moving? They would be on those places right away. Glenn says Yukons are great. You had one that went to 400,000. The head gasket blew. See, I don't put enough miles on to do that. My car just got an oil change a couple weeks ago, and it only had 1,200 miles since October put on it from its last oil change. So that's where I am. Joshua, good afternoon from Ohio. Nate, you were at Amazon warehouse. They never mentioned the time limit. I've never heard anybody say anything about that, and I'm wondering how would they enforce it. And to say you can't inspect your trailer, I have to inspect the trailer. You tell them I can't take it if I can't inspect it. What if it has 40 problems? Does anyone know anything about Maverick? Yeah, let's see what people know about Maverick. Joshua, checking while on your dirty 30. That's pretty good. Doing the dirty 30. That should be in the, you should put that in the comments on your ELD. Sometimes I get Maverick drivers on here so we can get, an actual driver. Your company billed Walmart $800 a day for taking 4 days to get to, how does they take 4 days to get to your appointment? You got 72% of that, easiest 4 days everywhere. Look, tell me this. Did you sit at a Walmart for 4 days in the warehouse parking lot or whatever? Oh, my gosh. Steel Horse drove by Pam and Hurricane main terminals. Hurricane. The personal vehicles parked in the parking lot reflect their low pay. There is something to be said for that. When every vehicle out there looks like it's got weeds growing around it and doesn't start, that does say something there. I totally agree with you about that. When there's a tree growing through your hood, you're staying out so long because you can't make any money. Right. Every car is $300 car. Come on. Mob Trucker says they try to kick you off the property. You were banned because you refused to move? Really? They can't do that. It's the law. I would say I can't take the trailer. I'm not allowed to take it if I can't look at it. I mean, I think, what are they trying to do then? Are they trying to avoid having to pay for damage that their spotters or whatever might have done to the trailer? Because if you inspect it off the property, they'll say, well, that happened after he left, or that happened after that driver left. So I think that could be the reason for that. That's really smart on their part, I guess. Because once you leave, they go, oh, we're not responsible once you leave the property. So you found the inspection out there. Oh, so, I think that's a bad deal. I guess companies are tolerating it, just paying their own damage because Amazon pays so much per mile. I don't know. Like a Real Boy drives for Maverick. What do you think about Maverick? Pretty good? No good? What is your opinion? Ryan told me he started having problems with his wife car around 100. Mechanic told him to get a newer wife. Yeah, we don't want to be trading the wife in. That's for sure. It takes too long to get them all set up the way you want them. Either way, my company doesn't like shippers or receivers jerk drivers around. I agree, right? They don't want you hanging around, but they have to let you inspect it. Steel Horse writes kindergarten break. I think Dirty 30. That's pretty good. I'm going to start writing stuff in the comments. That's really good. K. Wayne. Oh, ask where do I work? Well, that's an interesting question that I don't ever get. And so I don't ever tell people where I work for people that aren't here, that are just new here. That keeps them out of my videos. I do a lot of videos. And so keeps them out of there. They got nothing to say about it. Also, don't recruit for them. How many drivers are recruiting out here? They're just using YouTube as a recruitment tool to get their recruiting money. I don't do any of that. I don't even take any money from trucking companies at all. So there you go. Real Boy's been there since February. All right, a few months. What do you think about them so far? Because I've liked Maverick a lot. So what do you think about him? Sat at a TA in Fultonville for 4 days. Really? That is crazy. At least you got paid for it. Okay, so that's better working than driving. But how boring is that? 4 days? I mean, a lot of places you would have only made $100, maybe $150. Take pictures of the trailer once you drop it. I think you should have to take pictures of it once you pick it up too, right? To prove. Otherwise, they'll say, well, it was that way when we got it. I mean, you're required, though, to look it over. You got to inspect a trailer when you pick it up. The lights might not come on or whatever. For them to say you can't inspect it, I don't understand that. But here again, this is another thing where drivers have to say, I'm not taking it then. And let Amazon sit on all these trailers. It would only take an hour or two of drivers doing this, and then they would have to change their policies. It doesn't take long. Yeah, what's the average mile and loads? Glenn says, that's interesting. I work for a company out of Washington. Pay isn't too good. Looking for something better. You rode a 50-mile bike trail there for 4 days? That'd be great. I would need a bike. Chrome Daddy's eating Chick-fil-A. Enjoying the live show on your 30-minute break. There's shout out to Chick-fil-A. Can get it today because we couldn't get it yesterday. Longest load is to Utah. Well, that's no good. Scotty Too Hottie is in the house. Thank you for being here. 1,500 to 2,000 miles a week. Now, do you get to, like a real boy, do you get the $1,000 a week guarantee? Do they still do that? Because I really like that idea. So are they still guaranteeing $1,000 a week? Hey, is anybody here also from Carolina Truck Driving School? I just wanted to say that. So if you were if you recently went to Carolina Truck Driving School, you have to retest your CDL. Apparently there's some kind of paperwork problem. And so everybody that went there has got to come back down to the DMV and redo their CDL test. That's right. Everybody gets to redo their test because of some kind of improprieties or whatever about the school. The school, of course, admits nothing. If you think new cars are expensive, try trading your wife in on a new one. Exactly. I mean, that's where your expense is. Just get her a new car. Like a real boy. Okay, so $1,000 a week still in effect, which I love. I love a guarantee because why, Mark? It's only $1,000. Well, because if you sit, you still get $1,000. That's why there are people sitting getting nothing. So I always like a minimum guarantee. You can make more, but you can never make less, and that's worth something. To say I know every week I'll make at least $1,000, even if they have no work for me to do the whole time. That's really, really good. Ryan can't imagine working for Amazon on a regular basis. Delivered to their warehouse in Boston and was appalled at how they treated folks. Do you mean how they treated the drivers or how they treated their employees? Because their employees have sued them numerous times. At some places, it took an hour to get out because everybody got inspected. And they actually sued for overtime pay, saying, look, you're holding us so long, you should pay us. The employees lost. But they get sued for that kind of stuff all the time. How much does a wife depreciate? A lot. Does your cat eat Blue Buffalo kitten food? No. The cat eats Purina food. That's what she seems to like. And we get those pouch, their little trays. They're called appetizer trays. She eats those, and she eats some Purina dry food. So that's what she eats. So that's what they were giving her when we got her, and so we just kept giving it to her. So both the drivers and employees were having this thing with. So that's the thing. I've never heard this. I'd like to know what Amazon is doing about this 29-minute break. And as I said earlier, since I said this a little bit ago, does anybody know anything about this Western Express deal? Are they paying for reviews? An astute viewer wrote this to me. that they're giving you a 2-cent raise if you'll give them a 5-star review. But I can't prove that. And so are they doing it? I'm saying I don't know if they're doing it, but there's a ton of 5-star reviews in the last 2 weeks for Western Express online. Lots of them. And they're all seem to be written in the same halting English, like somebody that doesn't know the language as their first language. And they all have the same kind of style, like my DM is great. It's always the same script. So does that prove anything? Maybe. Maybe. I want to know about it. If somebody has more information about it, please send it to me. Record them, depending on what state, I guess. Record them on what they're saying or get that in writing from them. Oh, my gosh, do you have a Qualcomm message that says that? Take a picture of that and send it in. Holy moly. Took you 3 hours to get out of there, but I was hourly, so just took it easy. Ryan, exactly. So if you're hourly, you didn't sweat it. It doesn't bother you. You're not rushing to get to your next stop. Doesn't that make the roads safer? You get better pay. The roads are safer. That's what everybody keeps talking about, the ATA. Let's make safety a priority. Well, let's make safety a priority. If you go over the 29-minute rule at Amazon, they give you a service failure. Can result in a write-up. Who's giving you a service failure? Unless you Amazon doesn't have its own drivers, right? So who's giving you the service failure? Ever tried Blue Bunny ice cream? No. Only Ben and Jerry's. Nothing else is ice cream. Amazon gives you a service failure. I don't know how Amazon can write you up for anything. A mob trucker, yes. I don't know if I can trust a guy that loves his cat so much. I don't know what to say, man. I love my cat. I see. Well, I don't know. I want to look like a job hopper. You'll just write it out. You make 54 cents and they pay $35 to tarp. That's not terrible. And I agree about job hopping, okay? You shouldn't move around a lot. But if you're at a place and you can make a lot more money, it's worth leaving. But find a place that you're going to like, that is going to be good for you so that you don't have to have 10, 12 jobs or whatever. It's one thing to change jobs. You might have to change jobs. I get that. But then stay at that next place. Take a lot of time to figure out about that job. Is that the job for you? And do a lot of research about it. Your cat is a jerk. Oh, yikes. He pulled pizza from the oven last night, left it to cool, and returned the cat had eaten the pepperoni. That's awesome. My cat wouldn't do that. She doesn't get up on the counters, but that's really something. Hey, don't leave your pepperoni pizza out, I guess. And why wouldn't you share it with the cat? I will say this. I wouldn't mind sharing with the cat anyhow. Increase detention time because the cat will share its food with you. Equates with speeding and unsafe driving. And ironically, that's what the government is actually saying, that they believe that, the government actually said, even a 30-minute dwell time, which is what they call detention, resulted in more accidents. So what do they think about putting out of service for 10 hours does? ELD stopped working and was out of service for 10, had to drive. I agree, right. That kind of stuff is maddening as well. But the detention that they're looking at, they actually think that detention is causing a safety issue. They do. They said that in their little article. I saw a guy pulling an Amazon marked 18-wheeler. I've seen the Amazon marked 18, the trailers. I haven't seen an Amazon truck. Okay, Amazon now has trucks. You saw a couple Amazon truck logistics. That's interesting. I know they're paying their people to quit. That they're giving you $10,000 at Amazon if you work in the warehouse to quit and get your own Sprinter-sized truck and deliver packages. They are doing that. I forget the Cash is King forgets the old job hopping. If you don't like it where you're at, go to another place. Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't change jobs every 3 months. When people start at a place, that's one thing, and it's not great. And so then after a time, take some time and find a job that's going to get you home at the times you want, or stay out, do the kind of trailer you want, run the country, give you your pay, and then go there and stay there. Then you're at a place. Absolutely. If you're at a picture every 3 months, if you're at a place every 3 months, forget it. Al's going to send me a picture of his cats. All right, send them over. I can call to explain them on Amazon. I'm doing voice to text. You can always do the thing right here. Does blue raspberry marshmallow sound good? Do they have that at, does Ben and Jerry's have that? Walmart tried to say I was late because you're supposed to turn in the paperwork after you get a door, even if you have to wait for one past appointment time. But, that kind of stuff is crazy that they do that stuff. I agree with you. That's my fault. I share my food and now the cat is entitled to your food. Well, they're a family member. You share it with all the other family members. Is a great place working. Your DM mark is a fellow. Yeah, you should write that in my reviews. Doesn't get up on the counter that I know of. I don't know if she can get up there or not. I know the reason some don't like e-logs. Paper doesn't malfunction. Yes, it only malfunctions when you improperly use it, I guess. Cats are entitled anyway. They are. I see somewhere on a Facebook post that a picture of a Qualcomm message for Western drivers telling them to give a 5-star review and telling them what to say. Yes, but the top of that, I did see that picture, but it's cut off, and it was, the part that I saw, they were asking for reviews. Asking, can you give a 5-star review to us? I need a Qualcomm message that says, we will give you a 2-cent raise if you give us a review, that kind of thing. The message, I agree with you, but it said, anybody that can give a 5-star review, let us know, and we can post it on our social media or whatever. That's what they were doing with that. Absolutely. And so I read it, and it wasn't what people said. And the Qualcomm thing can be manipulated because you can type a message on there and take a picture of it. So we have to ensure that it's a message that the Qualcomm received, not that one that's about to be sent. You saw Amazon delivering out of little U-Haul trucks. Yeah, they recommend the people in there are sprinters. Go get a U-Haul if their sprinter breaks down or whatever. Yeah, so you could do that. Yes. Super Trucker had a cat with a dog a few years ago and wondered why I never saw turds. Turns out your dog thought they were Scooby snacks. Yeah, the dog keeps the cat box clean. And Amazon, once you get empty, you have your paperwork, you have 29 minutes to leave. That's what people are saying. How do they prove it? Number one, what do they do if you stay? Where is this written? Does somebody have this in writing? This must be posted somewhere. Get a picture of it. Amazon delivered by sailboat or Ferris wheel, paddle boat. They'll deliver however. You vape blue raspberry marshmallow. I was considering starting out by vaping for 25 minutes, but decided not to. Some shippers and receivers take 7 or 8 hours to load or unload you. They should freeze the 14-hour clock. No, they shouldn't freeze your clock. They should pay you. I don't want you driving after 21 hours, after you've been up 21 hours. That is unsafe. How about they paid you for the whole time you were there at a rate that is the same or close to what you would get driving? So then you have 7 hours left to drive if you've been there 7 hours, right? Then what if you still got your full day's pay? Would that be acceptable? You wouldn't have to work as much. So I'm not trying to work more, I'm trying to make more. Don't try to work 21 hours a day. That isn't any good for safety. That's not any good for you. You're going to die when you're 50 years old. Hot air balloon deliveries for Amazon. That's interesting. I guess we're only delivering east today, right? They give the service failure to your company, then the company gives you the failure. Really? Where is this in writing? Who's writing this down? This has to be posted at the window at Amazon. Otherwise, how would you know it? How would you know about it? Michael agrees the clock should stop when they take that long, especially if you're in the sleeper. Well, you would stop your clock in the sleeper, but I guess you need 8 hours, and you could do 8-2 split. So if you did an 8-hour sleeper, you could 8-2 split it and still have the time. So you would have stopped it that way. But here's the thing. How about you get paid for all that time? How about that? That's what I want to have happen. So if you got paid hourly, say $25 an hour plus overtime, and you were sitting there, wouldn't be a problem. So you 7 hours, you already got $175 before you even started driving that day. Nice. You drive another 7 hours, you make $350. That's not bad. Amazon gives you tags that are scanned when you get there and scanned when you leave. Okay, so that's how they know your time. Where is this 29 minutes written? I'm dying to see it. Amazon marks on the paper when you're empty, but they don't have anyone watching. Yeah, how would they know? I guess with the tag in and out. Then they service failure for not inspecting the trailer. How do they stop you from inspecting a trailer? If you're still there, you're 29 minutes. What's the problem with trailer inspection? Fairly paying us would increase safety. That's the thing of it. If it's about safety, pay people for all their time. Then safety wouldn't be a problem. Ryan, sounds like the failure hits the company for purposes of getting loads and contracts. The company dropping a failure on you seems like internal discipline. I don't like it. I don't like, and they can't do anything to you for following the law. So there's also that. If you're legitimately doing a pre-trip, there's no time in the FMCSA book for a pre-trip. So you have to post-trip your trailer and then pre-trip the next trailer. There's no time in the book for that. If it takes you longer because you're noticing a problem that you need to check out more closely, your company would have a real problem disciplining you for doing an inspection. So I think that is a problem, and I would say something to the company about that. Hey, this is by law, and I better not hear about it. Too much to text about Amazon. You can explain everything. Okay, write to me, and let me know what they're talking about. These FMCSA jokers don't have any common sense or understand anything. They don't, but this is at least the first people that want to hear from drivers about it. And they have there's like 7 or 8 questions they have on that site, which you can click on in the description, right to it. And they have questions down at the bottom there that they want answered. They want to know from drivers about detention. At least they're asking. Christopher Van Dyke, hello. I'm responding. Hello, what's going on out there? Thanks for being here today on the live show. Mob Trucker, you can write to me at the email right there, because I need that in writing about that. Do they have anything? Do you have a post when they come in? I longer work for Swift, so I can't take a photo. Okay, somebody goes in there. I need a picture of that 29-minute thing, and I'll ask Amazon about it. But I need to know exactly what it says so that I know when I write to them what I'm talking about. That'd be a great level 1 conversation. Sorry, officer, I had to leave because I didn't want a service failure. I think that is a real problem. Companies cannot write you up. They can't fire you. They can't do anything for you following the law. That's very specific in the rules. If you were they can't write, okay, I'm driving. At 11 hours, I stop driving, and they go, no, you have to keep driving, or you're fired. That's not allowed, okay? And that's an improper firing. They can't terminate you for that. Same thing here. If you are actually following the law, you cannot be fired. So Amazon can set whatever time they want, but you're still required to follow the law. So, if your company goes along with it, that is a real problem. Brooks Ann, you're quite welcome. Please write any time to me. Any Landstar guy in here, you're looking to do something stupid and buy a truck. We do have Landstar drivers in here. Is Landstar the place to go for the first-time owner-operator? Let's see what people think. There are Landstar drivers in here all the time. Does anybody know anything about the 29 minutes or this Western Express review thing? This Western, that they're maybe paying for reviews or giving people a raise for reviews? That's crazy. Also, ALA Trucking. They're a company in Indiana. They're closing June 26th. 14 drivers. The company has been open 42 years. So people always tell me, well, I'm at a company that's been open a long time. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Here's ALA Trucking. They opened 42 years ago, and they're closing. And so people say, I work for a small company. This wouldn't happen to us. Now, these drivers are not exactly getting falconed. They're not going to be left stranded, but they're also not subject to the reporting requirements, so they can just close because it's a small place. These drivers will get jobs. It's just annoying to the drivers there, that certainly, They have a nice setup for load boards. You can choose from your loads, right? I think that's really good. The detention data is readily available since the ELD mandate. Well, no, it's really not available because people are logging off duty. So many people sit and go off duty or go in the sleeper. So they don't know. They would have to get the ELD data and find out where you were. Was this sleeper berth time at a dock? It's not available because drivers aren't logging the way they're supposed to log. So that is the real problem. And they want to know, how long should you sit there? What do you think is a reasonable amount of time? How much time every week are you sitting and, in detention, in dwell time, as they call it, right? Are you dwelling at the dock? How much of it is excessive? What should be done about it? How can we collect that data and find out about it? How should it change? They want to know that. Exactly. That's exactly what they want to know. Joshua's going to get going. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Don't forget to come in for the 20,000 show and get a 450, Blue Parrot 450, hopefully, for somebody will be on there from Blue Parrot. So that'll be really great. So this 20,000 sub show coming up, right? Blue Parrot will be on there. Gift cards will be on there. Gift cards will go out to some of the subscribers that are subscribed at that point through a random drawing of subscribers. You will not have to be on the show for that. It's going to be a great time. I hope everybody is there. And that is just a thank you to everybody for being here. They really need to regulate the shippers and receivers. Well, that's interesting. And they want to know, what could they do to change this? So what do you think that they could do to change the dwell time, to change the detention if they regulated a shipper or receiver? What power would the FMCSA have to make that kind of change? They might log that way, but they also log on arrival at shipper or receiver as well. Well, but what do? You just put, really, I don't do anything. It just changes for you to on duty. That doesn't prove to the FMCSA, they would just have to go in there and see what it says, and all that stuff. All that is taken care of in our ELD. It doesn't make any difference. I don't have to do anything. It's all geofenced. Eric, an hour. I think an hour is reasonable for a place to unload you when they have an appointment. 1 hour, and beyond that, it should be detention. 45 minutes is good time to dock, 15 minutes to check, and 30 minutes to load. Well, that's a total hour at the place. I'm saying an hour, you get in, you're there at 11, whatever. Say your appointment's at 11, you get there on time. At noon, you should be leaving, empty or loaded or whatever. If they're not ready for you, why do they set an appointment? Well, then they have 40 trucks come in at 11 and they have 3 docks. Because they don't care. They don't have to pay anything. That's the problem. They don't need to ask your opinion to enforce common sense. Right, but here's the problem is FMCSA people, they don't know anything about driving. Most of them don't drive. They don't have any idea about anything. We need to help them out and give them some information. All I know is the 30-minute break makes logging correctly on duty impossible. It's a big problem for parking, especially at night. That's why everybody's parking on the shoulder. Mandate the shippers and receivers do what? What should the shippers and receivers do differently to reduce detention? Don't I hit arrive? No, I don't have to do anything. Sign in, everything, everywhere you go, address geofenced, and if it didn't work, they'll call you, but that's very rare, so I don't have to do anything. Sometimes I wait at sheetrock plant up to 6 hours in downtown Seattle because they only have 2 lanes, but there's a line of skateboards out onto the street. Well, that all that time should be paid. And how long should you wait there with sheetrock? Because they're going to want to know that from you. So you go there to the sheetrock plant. How long do you think it should take before you're ready to go, either empty or loaded? Cash is King doesn't shop at Amazon. I feel like they're making the trucking industry a lot worse. I've looked at pulling some of their freight before the rates are way too low. What are their rates? That's a good question for you since you watch those rates. And we see what rates you get. What is an average rate, would you say, out of an Amazon warehouse? And how much does the load weigh? Do they show that on there? Al says an hour is more than enough. I agree. And Al, an hour should be plenty of time. They're ready for you. They know. Eric, they never had a CDL. They don't know exactly. So we got to get them. We need to get them some information. Hey, what's going on? Big fan. I appreciate you being here today. Check out working with C.H. Robinson. Okay. They have shippers and receivers pay us in cash like a lumper fee. Oh, but you got to give them a receipt with that. With your social security number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love when they write that on there. My social security, right, and they write this, and the companies accept it. It's a huge scam for that lumper, $350 lumper fee, whatever, $400. That's ridiculous, right? Some people have said $600. Oh, my gosh, that's crazy. Look, Cassius King, you had one. There was like 20 boxes or something with some huge amount of money that you did yourself. I mean, which I agree, but they wanted a huge amount of money in a long amount of time. Why deliver gasoline? Pay is like $100,000 depending where you work, right? That's low and crash driver is dead. Yes. Well, when you crash in any truck, the driver's dead. $100,000, I mean, is pretty good in the industry today. A lot of drivers are not making any $2,000 a week, certainly. And gasoline drivers, at least around Indianapolis, they're home every day. They actually, one place runs an ad. It says their average length of haul is 33 miles, which I thought is pretty funny in their ad. But that's a good way to show drivers are getting home every day with a decent wage. Ryan says the drywall plant in Silver Grove is notorious for holding flatbed drivers for 6 or 7 hours, probably because they don't have to pay. Such a big player that carriers are afraid to assess the detention, right, for fear of losing. Never be afraid to charge money for your time like that. These carriers, I don't know why they're so afraid of it. They would rather not make any money and have the truck sit there. That's not business. I mean, that's crazy to do that. Those carriers should actually assess the fee, especially if it's in the contract. We have a deal, you're going to pay it, and that's the end of it. I mean, I don't understand it. And so who pays that? The driver. So we need to assess our detention fee on the company that says, okay, well, you might not get paid, but you're going to pay me. How you go get it is your problem. And I think drivers need to do that at places. You can't sit 6 or 7 hours every day without getting paid. and presumably off duty so that you don't get hosed on your log and think like that's a great deal. It really isn't. That time should all be paid at a good rate to you, and whether they get it or not, that's their problem. Make your problem their problem. Shippers and receivers need to work faster loading and unloading instead of making sure the broom don't fall over. Some of them, their job is to hold brooms up, though, right? Do away with lumpers. They don't seem to have helped the industry any, certainly. When it's $350 for one pallet. Oh, we got to break that pallet down into 2 pallets, sir, so that's another $100. See, Raymer says working with C.H. Robin is a nightmare at Robinson. I don't know about owner-operator deals, so we'll see about some owner-operators. I'm a company driver, and I don't know that much about the owner-operator side of it. The lumper gets 10% of that lumper fee, so they're getting hosed on it too. I think we should all get paid by the hour on the ELD to get mileage paid for driving and hourly pay for on duty. I think if we got paid by the hour for all of our time, that would be the best. That's what I think. But your way, right. Mileage pay as soon as you're driving, and then hourly for on duty. And believe me, you'd log everything legal on duty, right? You'd log a pre-trip every day, right? On duty. Absolutely. You don't want to haul gasoline. Gasoline vapors are known to cause brain tumors. I think we're beyond that. Me, certainly. So it probably would not reduce my brain power at all any lower than it could go. That's why I like ShipX. You like salary. I also like a salary pay. If you can get a base salary plus bonuses, I mean, that's really good too. A minimum pay, something. This mileage, only mileage, and it's hardest for everybody on the road. I mean, I really give you a lot of credit for hauling general freight at a place like Trans Am or one of these places, whatever it is. It's so hard to do without a minimum to really make a decent check. 1 week you get a big check, and then the next week you don't get any check. At least a guarantee smooths all that out for you so that you know every week you're going to make some money. Eric doesn't have any problems with C.H. Robinson. I don't deal with the owner-operator part of it. I only think that an owner-operator should make probably 150% of a company driver, for doing the job because of the risk. You take all the risks, so you should certainly make more than a company driver. And unfortunately, ATBS, who does taxes for owner-operators, says that the average taxable adjusted gross in 2018 for their drivers is $52,180, $1,000 a week. Taxable gross money. That's not great for an owner-operator. I don't think. I think it should be more. Some certainly make more, but then there's got to be people making less than that, and that's even worse. If you're making less than $52,000 as an owner-operator on a taxable adjustable gross, I mean, you might as well be a company driver. Eric doesn't have problems with C.H. Robinson. I get that where I did warehousing for 20 years. Lumpers get the crap worked out of them for pennies a ton. That's why a lot of them are Latino. I don't know how that connects, certainly. But people just trying to make a living. Here's the thing. So the lumpers are getting hosed. It's the lumper company, kind of like the trucking driver and the trucking company. Trucking driver? Right. Same thing. Neither way is any good. Raymer says the low G fault for them are always messed up. I don't know. If there's anybody else dealing with Robinson, that is an interesting question on dealing directly with a broker like that. Do you haul for them, Cassius King? Have you ever hauled any loads for them? What is your opinion on that deal? Have you ever done anything with them? It's disappointing that a lumper has to get hosed the same way a driver does to make a living. All people want is to make a decent living. And there's plenty of that to do in trucking. You don't have to sit for hours and not make anything. You don't have to. There's companies, like people said, ShipX will pay you a salary every week. Maverick will give you a guaranteed pay. So if you sit, you get paid. There's lots of other places that pay money. Michael grossed 64 last year, working for 49 weeks at Smith. That's more than the average owner-operator made, according to ATBS. Oh, wonderful. Eric, 52,000 as an owner-operator is crazy. Might as well be a company driver. I agree. But that's what they've did this is with over 3,000 returns now. Troy likes percentage. I've never been a big fan of it, especially with rates. When they change, you get the benefit, and when they go down, you can get hosed. So I just have not been a fan of it personally. I'd like to know at least that I'm going to get a certain pay per mile, at least, because I don't know if the company's going to hose me on that stuff. But that, a lot of people do really good on percentage. They do. I'm just not a fan of it. They just got here. Was there an announcement on hours of service? No. Hours of service announcement was delayed from June 7th, and what they said now is that they're going to target sometime in June to make the announcement. So July 26th was the original date that it was going to go into effect, because there's like a 49-day comment period, some weird comment period date. Now, every date's pushed back. That's pushed back another day as well. So as soon as they announce it, I'll be back with the announcement, whatever it is. Another instance, hauling steel, waiting 3.5 hours at a small steel warehouse with one crane. Got there an hour early, and they blame me for taking too long. But you were untarped waiting at 8. They don't have any idea what they're talking about. Simplicity is the best pay hourly for all log time, driving, or on duty time. It should be paid at all at the same rate. That's the easiest way to do it, it would seem like. End of the week, total up your hours, here's your pay. And you would log legal. You probably would not speed. Now, I'm not telling people to go 50 miles an hour. That isn't right, okay? You should drive safely, get where you're going, and work, do a day's work, because that's always the industry. Oh, well, drivers are going to just go 45 miles an hour. Don't do that. That's stealing also. We can't steal from them. They expect a day's work. You should give them a day's work, but for that, you should get a day's pay. And if it's hourly plus overtime, that's the best way to do it, I think. That would be the safest thing for the industry. Nobody would be worried about speeding. Everybody'd be out, oh my gosh, in the morning at the Petro or whatever, you'd see all these drivers, a sea of drivers doing thorough pre-trips of their trucks. Oh my gosh, they'd be checking the air pressure in every tire, measuring all the way around tread depth. It would be really incredible to see that, right? How much give there is, and all the everything on the engine. Oh my gosh, belts. That's what I'm trying to think of. It would really be something. Some of these trucks, I don't think the hood ever gets open on them. You get in a truck and you're like, wow, this is like brand new under here. Al, nothing against Latino brothers. Just almost every place I worked, learn how to cuss in Spanish. Well, at least you got some learning out of it. You don't have to do Rosetta Stone. It's like a free Rosetta Stone. That owner-operator taxable income amount seems low, because all the things you can write off compared to my pay with a company driver pay, I'll probably make. Yeah, you do better, and you should do better. You're taking a big risk. But this is over 3,000 returns, where owner-operators send in their returns to ATBS. And the average taxable adjusted gross is $52,180 in 2018. And that's up from $43,093 in 2017. So people like you skew it up, but that means there's some guy making $30,000 a taxable adjustable gross. Mad Maldy, you're in line to make 65 this year. Exactly. You're doing better than the average owner-operator, This probably includes a lot of lease drivers too, because a lot of these companies use ATBS as their tax service, where you can sign up right there. You're a little disappointed. Look, you're doing better than a lot of people. Mob Trucker, email me about Amazon. Please do. Ryan, delayed for ATA to lobby against drivers, I'm sure. Oh, that's interesting. It was actually delayed, and this is probably legitimate. The Office of Management and Budget has to review all these things before they get posted, and the government shutdown did push that back. So as much as I'd like to agree with that, it's probably a legitimate thing, and they did announce probably in May that they might have to push it back because of the OMB problem with it. So unfortunately, it's red tape that's holding it back. It's very disappointing. It's going to push it into August now, it looks like, at least, because now we're 3 days. So that's July 29th. I don't know if that's a weekday or not. So, because it can't go into effect other than that. And so we're looking at August probably as the very earliest. Michael, I admit since I got my ELD, driving got more aggressive than with paper. For some people it did, yes. Hopefully not you. You're only seeing it out there. Okay, so Cassius King, you do some C.H. Robinson loads every month. That's interesting. I deal with one broker, and you do well with it. But you're on just a single broker, right? Last CH load paid $350 a mile. That's his excellent pay. No hourly, but no way mileage plus no waiting detention. I'm good. You would be good with the hourly if it was commensurate with what you're already getting, right? I'd like to know about West Side Transport. I don't think I've done anything about West Side Transport. There could be a West Side driver right here. West Side. That ATBS number is after they've done all the write-offs. Yes. You take your family on vacation every year. I don't do one little thing but business related, but I can count off the travel. Yeah, you have to do some kind of business, so you get a card or whatever from somewhere. I agree with you, but I think a lot of people are onto your little scam thing that you're doing there. Just got a level 3 at the Colorado-New Mexico border. How did that work? That is, partial. What did they do, and what happened to you for that? Did they do anything to you? Look, I'm not saying you're only going to make 52 grand as an owner-operator. I don't know what you'll make. I'm saying this is ATBS. This was just out like the other day. They put this out ironically. And this is what they found in the people that write in to them. They do a lot of stuff for Prime and all these other companies that lease trucks, and that may skew their numbers down from just general owner-operators that own a truck and get freight that way. So it may depend on that. Christopher, hello, what's going on? Brooks, does the wife go on the road with me? No. I am home every day, and the wife does not come with me. What about Big G? I talked to Big G Express at the truck show, and they were not forthcoming and didn't like me talking to them. And eventually they basically booted me out of there. And so I don't know what to say about that. So I think I have a video about Big G also. They'll probably get updated this year as well, as a lot of places are going to do. So because after a year, a lot of these places have changed their policies. A lot of them have gotten pay raises and stuff, which needs to be put out there that the place is paying better than it was. We want to put out an honest representation of what a company is. So if they're doing great, in the industry like Western Express, we need to put that out there. We need to tell people, about, hey, you can get a 2-cent raise by, doing a 5-star review. I don't know if that's true still. I'm still trying to find out about it, but if you look up the reviews in the last couple of weeks for them, there are a lot of 5-star reviews. And like the astute viewer wrote into me and said, anybody that's been driving any length of time knows Western Express is probably not going to get a 5-star review from any experienced driver when they're in the 26 to 28 cent range on the West Coast. So that is not the greatest. Howard, Hulk, hello. Thank you for coming in here today. Did any of you go to Carolina truck driving school? Don't forget to retest your CDL, which is really something. And they're only giving people like a week to come in and do it. So because your current license is going to be invalidated at that time. Helping myself so I can learn and help others, which is a really long name. Paperwork and vlogs, all good. Okay, good. So they didn't give you any problems there. And so you're out of there. And you go in, was your dashboard clear and stuff? See, so if you're nice to them, which I presume that you didn't go in there, son, I pay your salary, you can get out of an inspection, no problem, you're all good, and you're down the road. And don't forget, the inspection, of course, is on duty time. I think Frey Miller got rid of the driver-facing camera. That would be really good. Swift was one of the first ones that put them in and then deleted them. Swift, of all places, people pick on them. They don't have driver-facing cameras. They turned them off. Why? And they got a lot of grief from their drivers. Their drivers griped about it, and they turned them off. So I know that it can be done if enough of drivers will just gripe at their company about stuff and, get it changed. It can happen. It happened at Swift. Oh, okay, you could get 5 days in hourly pay, but if I could have made it home on the 6th day, that would be annoying. The log could stop you from getting home. I agree. Because you'd log all this stuff, but maybe you'd get more pay and could get home more often. You wouldn't have to wait that long to get home also. How does that work? Were the testers employees in on it? They said the company, Carolina Truck Driving School, said that one of their testers did something with the paperwork, stole paperwork or deleted paperwork, and so it wasn't submitted properly to the state. That's what they say. And then the state says, well, without any of this, we don't know if these people were trained, to the level that they were supposed to, and so they have to come in and retest. So they're not giving them a long. Now, if you're part of it, supposedly the state has notified you, but I wanted to put that out there. If you went to a place called Carolina Truck Driving School, probably in the last few months, I'd at least call the school and say, am I part of this? Or call the DMV down there and say, do I have to retest? Because you don't want to let that pass. Your license, they're invalidating it no matter where you are in the country. The taxable amount for an owner-operator is a little deceiving because an owner-operator can write off a lot of things that a company driver is going to have to pay for it after taxes. It's a little deceiving, but it's still a little, something that it's only 50 grand. And this is adjusted gross, taxable adjusted gross money. So that's presumably the money that you're taking home, $1,000 a week. ATBS tax service is a joke. They have the mega carriers best turns. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's skewed low because a lot of the mega carriers encourage you to use it. And so people from Prime and Swift and all these companies that lease trucks are probably using them. And so it's going to skew a little bit lower, certainly. What is a good hourly wage for an experienced driver? Depends where you are and what you're doing, certainly. Well into the 20s plus. I did an app for Big G. When the recruiter called, I hammered them with questions. Right. That was over 4 years ago, and you're still waiting. They're still gathering information. Believe me, that call is coming. Your driver-facing camera is covered now. Yeah, so if you're at a company, and it doesn't have to be Swift, no matter where you are, if they say, oh, we don't use the driver-facing camera, but it has one, cover it up. And what if they say something, go, I thought we didn't use driver-facing cameras here. And Swift actually said that when they changed it around, that if you were unsure, you could cover the camera that faced in, that where they were not watching you, and you could cover it. So, and that's what they should do. It's sad that other companies have not followed in Swift's footsteps. How is that to say? How about that? I didn't even get pulled in but once. Then I only had to weigh. You're so ready, but you're ready today. You were extra ready. Well, they said that too, that a lot of places would wait until after the inspections because then the drivers let their guard down. And so now they're going to inspect people. But really, and look, you did the right thing. We should all be ready, right, every day to be inspected. So no problem. Any day they want to inspect, your truck should certainly pass an inspection. I know stuff happens on the road, but if you get stuff fixed as it happens, there shouldn't be any problem. And you should never be off in your log, certainly. We used to have to figure out which log to give the guy. You don't have to do that now. You can't. Which ELD do I give you? I'm not sure. We all give Swift a lot of excrement, nice, about being best in crash, but their safer scores are better than the industry average. Their safer scores have improved as well. They're not the worst place to work, certainly. Maybe it's not the best place, but I'll tell you that. There's a lot of worse places people could work, especially starting out. Swift, not terrible. No contract. How about that? The same thing happened to you at Luzerne County Community College. I love that. The Fighting Luzernes. I had to retake your test. The driver instructor's in jail. Holy mackerel. But you had to go in and retest, or you're going to lose your license. This happens sometimes at these schools. It just happens. Oh, holy man. You live in Arkansas. When you were trained, I was tested by a DOT officer. Well, then you should be able to pass. A lot of the schools, though, are allowed to do their own testing and then just submit that information. And so that's not great. Is dedicated better than over the road? I think it is, but that's more of a personal thing, right? Because then you know what you're going to do. You know where you're going. And it seems to me like you get unloaded faster. If you go in the same place every day or every week or every Tuesday or whatever it is, to bring them donuts once in a while. Be nice to them, really. I'm telling you, how far that stuff goes, you'll know what your check is too. So for me, I think so. But I will tell you, we have a lot of dedicated stuff and we can't get people to do it. That we had that run I told you about here a while ago from Minneapolis to Indianapolis, which is finally filled. But it took them a long time to fill that. I watched them. I kept talking to them about it to see, and it took them a long time. Why? People don't want to do the same thing every day. So they could not get people to do it. And it was a drop and hook on both ends and parking on both ends. So I don't even know what to say about it. And we still couldn't get anybody to do it. So it took quite a while to get somebody to go do it. They turned off the driver cam because the accident showed people doing something stupid, like smoking a bowl, clipping their toenails. That's disgusting and impressive at the same time. I will say that. I always wondered about the driver-facing camera. I'm like, what if that shows the driver being an idiot? The company is going to be under even more liability in a huge accident. Because if they sue for $8 million, you think the driver's going to pay that? No, the company pays it. So I always thought, man, there's got to be more to that, than their shows. But I will say that clipping your toenails is gross and impressive all at one time. I told a company I was going to drive in boxers and a T-shirt if they didn't get rid of that camera. Well, depending on who it is, like I always say, some people pay $3.99 a minute to see that stuff. You like dedicated better than over the road, but I like local way better. That is better yet. But it depends what you want to do. If you're single, look, I tell people in their 20s, right, go live in that truck. Go get in a truck and live in it for a few years. Depends on the lane. Some people like the consistency of dedicated and some prefer more options. I agree. Pay could be affected, yes. The dedicated holds your pay better. Like this run, it was the same thing every week here that they had going. So your pay would be the same exact pay every week. Regular, you had your own truck on like Walmart and parking on both ends and drop and hook on both ends. I mean, I don't know what to say. How does it get better than that? Apparently it does, because it took them like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks to get somebody to do it. Cash is King did not notice the rates go up any. I'm starting to think that DAT just says that every year to get their name in the press. Oh, that's an interesting way to do it too. Oh, we'll just put this out here because we're big, and then we'll get a bunch of press releases. That's like free. You don't have to buy the likes then, like Western Express might be doing. It's like free publicity. For people that don't know that too, a place like Western, and this was suggested, who's doing this, you can buy likes, you can buy positive reviews, you can buy all that stuff. You can buy all that kind of stuff. So are they doing that? I don't know. It is written in an English way that is not someone that is a native speaker. And there's a lot of them written in the same type of way. So I don't know if they're doing it. I would love more information about it. Other people having to retest, also having to pay the testing fee? Probably. Wouldn't care about the retest, but the fee, yeah, I will say the state might waive it, but probably have to pay it because it isn't the state's fault. The state would say, go get it from the school, probably. A good state would let you do it, but they would have to have some kind of law probably to waive the fee first. I run a dedicated lane for FedEx, pulling Rocky Mountain doubles. Nice. I haven't done that in years. And it's great. Best money I've made. Same thing all week, but you get weekends off. Yeah, so it's good money. But it's the thing is, you know where you're going. You stop at the same place probably every day. You get to know everybody, and I think it's better. Of course, at FedEx, you don't do a lot of unloading, so no problem. I went to Roadmaster. They don't even joke about their CDL school being illegal. Oh, is it like saying stuff at the airport? Holy mackerel. I'll never forget sharing a coffin sleep with your dad when you were a kid, hauling pigs. That was the sleeper then. I mean, people write to me from these Prime trucks especially, because if you get at Prime, you can take a lightweight truck, which gives you a smaller sleeper, and you get an extra nickel. And then the people are like, oh, how small this truck is. It's all terrible. I can barely stand up in it. I'm like, holy mackerel. A lot of that stuff is relative. I started out also, in a coffin sleeper, which is a 36-inch sleeper, and it's only as high as a day cab all the way to the back. That's it. There's no standing. You put your pants on laying down and stuff. So that's how it was. So a lot of it's relative. I think insurance companies push the driver-facing cameras. Yeah, maybe. But, the insurance company is the one that's going to pay for the accident when you're clipping your toenails and run into a bus full of nuns, as they say, or orphans, and kill everybody. So they're the ones that got to pay, and then they show the video of you clipping your toenails. So, the insurance company takes the risk on it also. I like local, but not the local pay. As I say, the highest pay that anyone's ever written in and proved to me is a local driver making $136 at Old Dominion, home every day. So, and some fuel. There are fuel routes in Indianapolis paying $100,000. Did you just say if you're single, so go in a truck and live in it for a year? No, I said go in a truck and live in it for 5 years. That's what I think would be. Say you're 21 or whatever age you are, but this is a good example for somebody that's 21 that doesn't have a career going. Go to truck school. Go live in a truck for 5 years. You only have a phone bill. That's it. Don't have a car. Don't have anything. When you come home, if you want to come home a couple times a year, go to a motel. All right, for $300 or $400 a week, stay at a motel, $500 a week. Rent a car for a week. That's $250 an Enterprise. A couple times a year, it's a couple of $1,000. Big deal. Live in the truck for 5 years. Save all your money, that you can. Save, $400 a week, $500 a week or more. $500 a week for 5 years is a $125. And you can probably save more than that. But if you just save that, so now you're 26, you have $125,000 of cash and 5 years of driving experience. Wow, that's a lot better than most people. You saw a few drivers watching shows on tablets while driving. They should not be watching shows. More this week, there's drivers doing videos while they're driving their car, driving their semi. They're responding to comments. They're doing live videos and responding to comments. You can't do that. Come on, man. You cannot go on there and gripe about safety in the industry, then respond to comments doing a live show while you're driving. You can see the stuff going by in the windows. No way. That is not safe. A steel horse thinks the lawyers push the driver-facing cameras So the lawyers want the camera, so they're pushing. But wouldn't the insurance industry push back by saying no, because they know they're the ones that are going to have to pay when they have these drivers clipping their toenails and doing all this other stuff? Even though it is impressive. Let's be honest about that. I don't think I could do that unless somebody was doing it with helping me. Mike, thank you very much. I love the channel. I appreciate that. What company I work for is looking for a run. That run is long gone, right? But I did talk about that for a while because I was surprised that on a regular run, people wouldn't do it. But I guess because I kept talking to them about it, I said, well, keep me updated on this because I've been here at my company 17 years now as of a couple of weeks ago. And they said that people would call, but as soon as they knew it was the same thing, they didn't want to do it. So I don't know. Maybe it is that people don't want to do the same thing every day, and that's okay. Look, it's not bad, but don't do it and then gripe about it. If that's not for you, then don't do it. Absolutely. Cash is king. If you ever had to become a company driver, you'd definitely get a dedicated route, probably at Western Express, right? The guy that was clipping his nails was in a Volvo. I don't know if that matters. Is there more room to swing your foot up there? Do they have some kind of device that could help you get that up there? In my extreme upper 30s, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. I'll tell you that. You make more than I did over the road, dedicated or Dollar General. Get $17.50 plus overtime, never away from your family, and you get to work on your house. Part of the good of local, of course, is you get to see your family whenever you want to because you're going home. But if you're 21 and you don't have a family, look how much money you could save. I mean, that is life-changing money. Here in Lafayette, for that kind of money, you can buy a house and a car for cash. You'd probably save more than $500. Once you start making money, you might save $600-$700 a week. You can be debt-free, buy a house here and a car, and go get a local job. I mean, that's life-changing money right there. What if you just saved that for your retirement? At 26, you you stick $125,000 into some kind of money thing, follow Dave Ramsey on that. What kind of money would you have when you retire? It's life-changing. I can't believe these drivers clip their toenails and drive. I shouldn't laugh. They're endangering. It is amazing and impressive, and they're also endangering the public at the same time. I think they should get an award and also have their license taken away. Eric, I'd have a flat top FLD. Right, and you would love it. Well, it's like yesterday driving. I don't pay that pays not around here. That's you. Werner paid 39 cents a mile. That's not super great. Anything in the 30s is not great anymore. XPO SDs, Old Dominion, they are 22. It depends where you are here. I've been with the same company 15 years. That's really good. Will other companies recognize that for vacation pay? Well, I'll tell you, Randy, I didn't think they would, but after calling companies, I started calling companies. I've had some that said they will recognize the vacation pay. You got to ask them about it. Now that a couple said, yeah, I've been asking about it. And yeah, looks like about 20% of them say, all right, we'll give you that much vacation to start. So yeah, if you ask around, some of them might do it. You wish you had some money in the stock market. Beyond Meat stocks, is it going up and up? All right. Swift is self-insured, so they don't care about that at all, right? Got to watch the Game of Thrones. I'll keep that in mind. I don't watch any TV during the week at all. Like the guy that caught the runaway Colorado truck driver bombing past him, just sitting in traffic, running his vlog. Yeah, well, he was stopped at least. I agree. But I agree. And I've seen tons of it because I watch the videos come up. I watch them. You cannot drive a semi, do a live show, respond to comments, and then gripe that there are unsafe drivers at Swift. You can't do that, okay, unless you're the unsafe driver at Swift doing it. You just can't do that. 22 seems low. It depends. I mean, that's all in the Indianapolis, middle Indiana area. That's a pay around here that you could get. What if your living expenses are low? Just means Swift told you 50 cents a mile. That's not bad, right, for Swift. That's way more than a lot of places offer. I keep saying Swift is not the terrible place. They have a bad reputation that followed them around, kind of like Hyundai. When they first came here, cars garbage. Right now, much better, but some of that still follows them. Pinto, bad. Ford, good. That's what you did for 2 years and saved $45,000. That is really good. See, in just 2 years, that's more than most people save their entire life. I've only saved $36 total. That's it. I'm working on it, though. What did the dedicated run pay? They were paying like $1,400 on that dedicated run. You did it I think that's how they worked it. You did it 2 times 1 week and 3 times the next week, and you made 70. You never touched freight. You never even opened the doors of the trailer. Drop and hook both ends, sleeping on both ends, no problem. It was 500 and some miles each way, so it was a perfect day's drive. I mean, they had it set up good, and you kept your truck, unlike Walmart. So I always got to say, you know, a signed truck. When am I going to do my live feed going down the road? Yes, that may not happen. That kills you. You see guys on YouTube driving and making videos. Some are hauling hazmat. Look, it's one thing even, some of them drive and are showing the road or whatever. There are some that are driving with a live feed responding to comments. So they have to read the screen, and it takes a lot of time to look at that screen and read it and then respond. They're not paying any attention to what they're doing driving. If I was the company, I'd fire you on the spot, of course. And most companies probably would, you would think. It's amazing that people do it. I don't call in on people like that, but somebody is probably going to eventually. But what if you get into an accident? Think about this. You think a lawyer's not going to find your live feeds? You are finished. Jimmy, Saya is offering $29 an hour. That's nice. For 16 months. Why such a weird number? And this is low income, low rent area. Well, then you'd be living large. And that's pretty good money. Probably home daily on that too. Probably. Lots of reports of them weaponizing their DFCS against her. What is a DFCS? Oh, driver facing camera. Weaponizing it? Oh, that's an interesting word. Weaponizing it. I like it. Well, I'm going to write that down. I'm going to think about that in a video. They're weaponizing their cameras. That's really good. I'm stealing that stolen. I drive in 1993. You drove and lived in your truck for 3 years and paid your house cash in the Bay Area. That's really good in California. Boy, by the way, now, what's that house worth now? Beyond Meat is up $30 a share today. That's not meat, though. Where do you live? You're right. That'd be worth moving from the Northeast to do. Yeah, that's pretty good. That dedicated seemed good to you. But when people hear about it and they're like, day after day, same run, same run, same run. That's it. That's what you do. People are like, no, I don't want to do it. So it took a while to get somebody to do it. That's the problem with dedicated. Not everybody wants to do it. But on the road, you take a bigger chance. You could make more some weeks, but then you make less. You know, I think the dedicated run, I would have stopped every day at the same place to fuel too and got to know all those people. Everything would be the same every day. Gregory gets guaranteed pay at Werner. I didn't know they had a guarantee. Trans Am, you live $15 a day advances. $15? What are you supposed to do with $15? You get guaranteed pay at Werner? What does the guarantee at Werner? Let's get that out there. When did they start that? You stayed out 6 years, bought a house, and your first truck with cash. Exactly. Perfect. Good advice. I wish I would have followed it. That was my plan. Didn't do it. But that's what I thought about doing. And I still think it's a good idea. And so you did really good too. Texas Trade, I'm using Stock Market Simulator. Wish you had the money in the stock. I'm not into the stock thing, certainly. Got divorced, wife took the house. Well, too bad. She did pretty good on that house, though. Did I do a review on Rail? No, I haven't done Rail, but I've talked about Rail. You know, they got the cameras, so I'm on the fence about them. They do pay you in truck school. There's probably a lot worse places you could go to. I will say that. I could see a company doing that. Take like for 20 cents or I'll fire you for the toe clipping. Take it for 20. I'll fire you for toe clipping. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. Is that the only time you have in your life to clip your toenails? If you drive Nestle, sooner or you wind up in a crunch. Really? Really? We're going to pun this out? John, I don't know about that. Jimmy, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area. You live in Memphis. Wish I had that advice when you're 21. Well, I had that advice when I was 21 and I didn't follow it. And so I think a lot of us don't follow that kind of advice. I think it's great advice for new people, really. And I wish I would have done it. If you're 21, don't go to college, right? Unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a CPA, something that really requires college. You can do pretty much everything else you need in life and make a great living without college. Really do what you want to do. That's, the what's his face, so I can't think of now, of course, the guy from Apple when he did that speech, and I totally agree with him, right? Go do what you want to do. If driving is what you want to do, go do it and be the best driver. And at 21, go live in that truck. They'll let you live in the whole truck. Just live in it. Only have a phone bill now. Years ago, we wouldn't even have had that. I would have had a phone card bill. So, but not, or a pager bill. My $10 pager, beeper pager cost. Now just a phone bill, $100 or whatever it is for a phone, $50 a month for a single phone, and you're in. Live in that truck and save all that money. Go home in a motel. Don't have an apartment. Don't have a car. Don't, because it just sits there. Rent a car when you get home. Go rent a car, right? You get a new car that way. Memphis is real similar to Indiana. Wish I had that. Are you shocked that a trucker's live stream is rife with dad jokes? Kind of. I mean, kind of. My buddy was wanting to get divorced, but he was afraid his wife would take the house. I told him it would be a good deal. Yeah, I, of course, never recommend divorce, certainly. Rail was kicked out of your CDL school and not allowed to recruit there anymore. Why? What did they do? Because I'm still, I'm up and down on it. Todd, oh good. Todd from Landstar, how's it going? So thanks for coming here. We've had some Landstar questions. What do you think about the Landstar load board system? Bad Mal, you don't clip your toes. You wait 3 weeks and let your wife do it. That's good. I'm sure she loves that. I would have said $60,000 in student loans. Yeah, look, going $60,000 in debt to go to get a $35,000 job, not a great plan. Doctors, they have to go. Lawyers, I get it. Something specialized. Just a general business degree, forget that, right? Go do something you love with your life. What's the point of living if you're not going to try to do something spectacular? How about that? How's that for advice for today? After the kids got out of the house, going to sell and buy a truck with the giant sleeper and live on the road with the wife. That's a great idea too. Get them out, and that way they can come and visit you wherever you are, literally. How's the weather like? The weather is doing great today. 70s and sunny, low 70s. These trucks are just a little smaller than your first apartment. I know. They're super nice now. People don't realize this, and it's no dig at anybody, but trucks used to be a lot smaller. You were expected to go out and live in a cab over that. The stick was right here. You had to climb out of a little hole, and you had a 36-inch sleeper behind you that you had to lay in to change your pants. Okay, so that was driving then, and that was big time. You were big time in it. Okay, you got to pay a storage locker for $116.60. Well, it depends what's in there. You don't want to do that for like 5 years. Maybe you do if you have some kind of piano or something. I'm saying if you're 21 and don't have possessions, don't have anything, you still can afford that though. Rail really hosed you when you left, stole your deposit on equipment, and zeroed allows. Why is there a deposit on equipment? Did you own the truck there and allows you $250 paycheck? So were you an owner or do they have an escrow? If they have an escrow, then I'm out. Have I done anything about Hogan? I see a lot of dedicated. No, because Hogan is kind of like Black Horse and all these other Ruan. Every city, everywhere they are, they do a bunch of different dedicated stuff. Here they advertise like a bunch of different dedicated things. So depending where you live, they may have $25 an hour. This pays $20 an hour. That's 50 cents a mile. Home every day. That's 48 cents a mile. Home every other day. Wherever you are, you'll have to call Hogan and say, what do we have right here where I am for me? Nothing says we hate drivers like being outfitted with an international. That doesn't help matter, certainly. And I saw one here Friday, and I thought, holy mackerel, they better not get any more of those things. She's breaking out an angle grinder on those toenails. Might as well stream. Oh, my God. Are you going to live stream that? You should live stream that thing. You drive for an owner-operator. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought you were the owner-operator there. All right. Well, sorry about that. Yeah, after these 2 years, you paid all your debt and back taxes in 2 years. I was still able to save $45,000 with a phone bill and health insurance. Bought my own truck and still have a nest in the bank. Yeah, not bad, right? So you did really good. And I wish I would have followed everybody's, my own advice, really, that everybody else followed but me and didn't know they followed it because they hadn't heard about me yet. The CDL school, they said they wouldn't pay the fee charged to the CDL school to allow companies to recruit there. They charge a fee to recruit there? So they're making money on the, well, then that's puts, I'd say holy mackerel. So the CDL school said they wouldn't pay the fee charge. So Rail charges the school. So I have it wrong. Rail is charging the school to allow them to come in there. Why would they do that? Who would do that? So they should announce that to the students and say that maybe that's how you heard it and say, look, we're not having them in because they want us to pay them to come in here. Swift does a free college program now with the pay for computer. I agree. I've seen that. U.S. Express does it. I don't agree. I don't know. If you wanted to get a degree that way, do it. It's not going to be worth much. An online degree is not worth a super lot of money. What are you going to do with it? Go get a job in an office? Most drivers are not office material. That's why we drive. We're just not set up to work in an office. I mean, I think we can all agree to that. I probably wouldn't do good in an office or in a warehouse kind of situation. I kind of like to be on my own. That's why we're drivers, right? We don't like the boss, the man breathing down our necks every day. So we go out and drive. Here, they leave me alone. I've been here a long time. I just come in and do my job. A lot of days I don't see anybody. And that's the way I like it. And so that's the way they like it. If they'll leave me alone, I'll do my job fine. And so working in an office with Brad at the water cooler. Hey, how are those reports coming, Mark? Are you going to get those in by 2? Got to have those by 2. I mean, that is not going to work for me, okay? It's just not going to work. They had a contract dispute. There shouldn't be any kind of pay. The recruiters should be free. Everything should be free there. My ACM went out on the truck, and I'm at home in Arkansas. I hope that you're getting paid for that as well. And that sounds like a big problem, expensive problem anyway. The cab overs in the 80s were tiny. Yeah, your stepdad drove one. Exactly. I had a few of those, even into the early 90s. And it was small. And so then when people write to me and go, oh, this truck at Prime, it's usually Prime, because they have a smaller sleeper for the extra nickel, because it's a lightweight. Oh, how small. It's only 50 inches or whatever. I'm like, wow, that, is gigantic. I'm switching careers and going trucking. Good. I've been doing the same career since you've been in the working industry. Time for a life change. Oh, you're 26. Oh, I thought you were going to be like 50. Single and work harder than most. You'll do great. If you're willing to work hard, keep a clean record, get your endorsements, because they say driver hiring is slowing a little. So get all your endorsements. Keep a clean record. If you can work on your own independently, go trucking and go live in that truck, man. By the time you're 36, holy mackerel, look how your life could change. 10 years, you could have $250,000 saved. Imagine that. I-65 Chrome Shop has a Peterbilt extended sleeper for $319. Holy mackerel. Send a picture of that gigantic thing. Hogan's hauls cars. Hogan hauls a lot of stuff. They have reefers, vans, cars. They do a lot of different kind of logistics things. If they're near you, you're going to have to call them and see what they have right there for you, because they do a ton of different stuff. They even have straight trucks here. Craig, there was some legal issue with that, so we had to change the name of that and do it a little bit differently to make sure it could pass legal muster, so that we could still get the information out in a way that is better legally. You were a company driver. They charge you a $100 deposit for the trailer, steering, and kingpin locks. Oh, I love it. Returned them and said I didn't. Rich Rail ignored my complaint. Talked to him personally. That's really something. Do they have that in their paperwork? It's not on their website that they charge a deposit. They're not allowed to charge a deposit for the trailer, certainly. Steering locks, maybe. I mean, it depends on the state that they are headquartered in. But, they can't charge a deposit for the trailer. I don't think so. You want to do a live stream featuring your average guitar prowess? Yeah, do it. Get it out there and get it on there. School charges the trucking company. This is the policy with most schools. So the school is charging the trucking company. I don't agree with that. That they have to pay to be in there. I mean, skews who's going to come. And since there's limited time, they could even maybe bid them against each other. And so no way. That's not right at all. They should announce that. And, that isn't right to charge the trucking company, say, you have to come to talk to our students, you have to pay us. And that would leave out companies that might be better, companies that maybe don't want to pay. It's just not a great way to do it. I mean, their money should come from the work that they're doing, providing students an education. That's how they get paid. The new trucks are spaceships. Yeah, compared to the old cab overs, holy moly. Cubicle work is slow death. I mean, can you imagine every day going into a cubicle? You got your little pictures up here, that cat hanging off the wire saying hang in there. I mean, then you got a meeting at 10. Don't forget about the meeting. There's cupcakes in the break room. Oh, did you hear what happened to Karen? Oh my gosh. I mean, oh, no way. No way. Craig Davenport, attorney, probably puffed their chest at the behest. Maybe. Never know who did that, right? In your limited experience, truckers are a lot like chefs, only slightly less prone to substance abuse. I don't know about that. They never test positive. You worked as a supervisor for 3 years. It's the worst 3 years ever. Drivers are just not into working in a warehouse or in an office, I don't think. That's why these companies offering a college degree, what are you going to do? We're going to go work in an office? No way. You'll be back in that truck in no time. Swift College program, not only for you, but for your dependents. Yeah, I wouldn't want my dependents to be stuck in an office either, under the thumb of Brad, doing, having meetings and just having their life bored out of them. Go do what you want to do with your life And if most people don't say, yeah, my goal is to work in a cubicle surrounded by 100 people for the rest of my life. That's just not people's goals. So instead of teaching kids, hey, why don't you go work for somebody else and work 60 years and get a gold watch and die? Let's teach kids to go do what they love, to follow their passion. And that's for everybody. Go follow what you're most passionate about and go do that, and you'll be better at it. You'll probably make more money, and at least you'll have a better life than go and get a degree, a business degree, work in the office. I need that report by 3. Right, forget that. Oh my gosh. If you drive for Hogan, are you a Hogan's hero? I will tell my wife that comment, and she is going to love it because she tapes every episode that it's on Hogan's Heroes. Loves the show. I've seen all of them, right? Hogan hauls cattle. That's really something. Not office material. Yes. I had my own office once, and everyone I worked there knew not to look for me there. It's horrible, isn't it? I mean, nobody wants to do that. People do it. I understand people do it. If you ask them truthfully, they're like, no, I hate it. Right. Don't go do stuff you hate your whole life. No way. That's the worst. To put your tire chain on the wheel when in heavy snow in the winter, I don't chain up. Policy here, no chaining, which is almost every company. Right. I just carry chains. If I'm going west, I would carry them, but I don't chain up, and I think that's the best. If you have to chain, it's really bad out. So I'm not a fan of chaining up. Only have had to do it a couple times in my life, and now no chaining. Think for backwoods northeast. Thanks for the advice. Well, thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to come in on the 20,000 subscriber show for the free 450 XT Blue Parrot giveaway, among other things. Driver hiring is slowing. Didn't we have a driver shortage? Yeah, that's what they said. A driver shortage. Now they're saying, oh, driver hiring is slowing down. It's slowing down. But I don't see that happening. And look, even if it does, just be good at what you do. Have your endorsements. Keep a clean record. You'll always be miles ahead of everybody else. Do a good job. There's always work for people willing to work with a good record. Are internationals that bad? I'm thinking about Schuster or Freemiller. Look, I don't like them personally. Go sit in one and see what you think. I did see that the new LTs look different. I'm hoping that they're different on the inside. I haven't been in one. The old ones, and old, I'm talking like 3 or 4 years old, that body of them was not set up good inside, I didn't think. We had a few of them here as rentals, and I didn't like where the switches were and stuff. I didn't think it was set up good for a driver. Maybe the new ones are better. It's a lot of people love them. It's kind of a personal preference thing too. I drive, we have an Escape, a Ford Escape, which we love, but some people hate them. They're wrong, but they are. That's how it is. I've seen Hogan pulling a truckload of live chickens in Missouri. Really? So what does Hogan not do? I think that's the question now. Let the inside school is a form of advertisement. They're peddling their wares. Yeah, look, they are, but then they should at least announce it. If they say you got to come here and pay, then they should let the students know at least that the person that came is paid. How about at least full disclosure? Then we can at least know what we're talking about. That would be okay with me then. But the way I didn't even know. I thought they just came in there to talk or whatever. But that they're having to pay. It could be say, well, we have 4 spots, so you have to bid for those spots. You're only getting the places that were able to pay to get in there, and it may skew people's opinion of the new place, because they're new drivers still. They don't know anything about the industry. So we want to be careful to at least have full disclosure that this person paid to be here. They're a paid spokesman. Not only that, they paid us to let him talk here. And then that's fair. Cohen called you and said I had to let them contact my company that I work for in order to tell me how much they're going to offer me. Oh, forget that. Right. And you can't talk to them until we got a deal. Well, you know what they're trying to do, though? They're trying to pay you the minimum amount based on what you're making now. They might offer you 3 cents or something or $1 an hour, or however they do it, more when they would have given you even more money. No way. I'd say nope, no way. Dedicated equals Groundhog Day. What day is it? Some people can't do it. I agree. It's not for everybody. Some people go crazy. They don't like doing it. And so we can't get people to do it. Not bad. Bill Lumberg. Okay, I didn't. That was the first name I thought of. Either way, it's horrible. Ralph, good afternoon. Internationals are junk heaps, certainly. They just got that lawsuit, too. They just settled that lawsuit. The Timahawk. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for being here. Just got home. 97 on Annapolis. Wow. Is a 97 outside Annapolis is a mess. Heavy rain, right. Got a wrong way. It's doing nothing here. You finally got all the rain that we had over the weekend. All service jobs, computers will kill everyone's job. The computer eventually will come and kill us, literally, each of us. Even with the Cummins, they're better with the Cummins. How come every terrible boss is someone named Brandon? That's because they're named. You get your name at birth, and you have to follow that all the way to the end of it. Do I have to enter a way station? Yeah, if they're open. We don't have the passes or anything, so if they're open, I got to go in. We have some. The world is light, though, so I don't have a problem. No more than, say, 60,000 gross. That's probably the heaviest. The interior's junk and falls apart. I didn't think it was comfortable either. Now, this LT, I haven't been in one. Cassius King is saying the LT is a lot different inside than a ProStar, right? And so that's the thing. These LTs, if they fixed a lot of that, they may be the best truck ever. We need somebody on here that's driving an LT to tell us how great it is. Rail used to pay how so good, and that's the industry standard. Yeah, for them. 5 years later, they paid practical miles, and they said, if you paid how so good, you're being ripped off. Don't you love it? At least, look, we got to give them at least that for up in their game, right? Just give you a Freightliner 10 speed. That would be the, how about a Freightliner 13 speed? We're still hiring. Don't think we'll change. I agree. The places that hire, there's always going to be room for good drivers. So no matter what, if you see this driver hiring slows, if you're a good driver, you've got experience and or not even, and you just keep your record clean, there's going to be room for you, no problem. Found a Pontiac Solstice for sale. Holy mackerel, and it's gone. On most trucks nowadays, you can move your switches around pretty easy to different locations. Holy mackerel, how do you do that? Mark is a Ford guy. You have an 01 Escape. Wow, first year for the Escape. Hope to see you on the Escape Club forum. The most used switch in my truck, lane departure warning off. Well, in my truck, I'll have to use it once, and it stays off until you restart the truck. Although our 19s, which I have an 18, the 19s that came in, it's 10 minutes on those. I noticed that because I know one of the drivers that has one. 10 minutes, you have to turn it back off again. But mine, turned off, it doesn't come back on. Rail had preferred routing with turn by turn. Drivers argued that when you add up the miles, it came out way more. That's a surprise. Drove for them. Oh, and that's an 03. That's a long time ago. Schuster was getting Mac Anthems. That'd be even better. Nice. Found almost local, hauling for $300 per day. That's pretty good. Home every 3 to 4 days. Should you take it? I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think about it? I mean, is that going to satisfy your needs? It's not just money. We need more than money. I saw Swift flatbed carrying bees. Did he hook up to that trailer correctly? He may not even know he has that. Automatic change is the way to go. I don't see enough trucks with them on there. If there's a computer coming to kill you, better have a Windows update. Oh, that's the thing. It'll probably come and stop because it has to be updated. 10 speed is fine. Don't need to split hairs. All right. I'll take a 13. Oh, you've never driven one? Easy. You got it made. I consider criminal acts for a 13 speed. My company's not buying manuals. Yeah, we aren't getting any more manuals in. Rail started at 27 cents a mile, 6 months, raised to 29. Not anymore. They're more than that now. We'll give Rail the benefit of the doubt that they don't pay in the 20s. They're not Western Express. As I wrap up, if anybody has any information on this Western Express review, are they paying for reviews? Are they giving 2 cents a mile for reviews, for 5-star reviews? I got to know it. Right now, I don't have any information, but somebody said it, and they have a lot of 5-star reviews lately, a lot. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it is. The FMCSA delayed their detention announcement. As soon as it comes out, I'll have it. But there's no date now, just sometime in June. Acceleration is making 60 cents a mile at Martin, 5 days on and 2 off, $11.50 guarantee. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Especially the guarantee. So that if there is a problem, you know you're going to make at least $11.50. That's the thing. That's where a guarantee is. People see that and go, I want to make more than that. You can make more, but you're never going to make less. You like the 10-speed better because it's more responsive than the automatics. They're better. I've only been driving a year and a half. I agree. If you ever drove a 13-speed, you would like that better, especially for hill climbing and stuff. Splitting the top gears is better. Just overall better. It's the best transmission, I think, over the road. People like 18 speeds, that's just too many gears unless you're hauling heavy. For any legal load on road, if you're not off road and stuff, 13 speed is the way it does. I think it's kind of pathetic to see companies advertising electronic logs. Hey, they're saying, hey, you can get an e-log here. And they should say also, we're going to pay you for all your time. That would be great. Mad Maldy, that's a huge story. Proof is leaked. I have no proof of it. So as of right now, they're not doing it, is what I'm saying. I have no proof of it. It's an accusation. I don't know that Western Express is doing it. If somebody knows something, it's got to have something in writing. Because in the 2 weeks, there's tons of 5-star reviews suddenly. And so it goes along with what the person is saying. Nobody would give them a 5-star review, not when there's 10 in a row like that. It just wouldn't happen. Jimmy fears the date after driving an automatic. Ryan, thanks for the chat. I appreciate you being here. Leon got a 202680. Wow, nice. Glenn, is that for flatbed? Him? No. That's a dedicated Walmart. Not bad on there. Automatics are great. Just the manual's better and more truckish. I like the manuals better, but I'll take my automatic. Michael Muller wants a Super 10. What the heck? Those are only in museums now, in the Museum of Old Trucking. Super 10. That's, of course, as we know, the worst transmission, voted by me as the worst transmission ever. So you just split the top 4 gears on a 13-speed. The top 4 gears can split in half. You don't have to split them, though. So it drives just like a 9-speed. And then you just split the top 4 when you need it. So we go 13 to 12 climbing a hill, or 9 to 8 as people put it there, 8.5. And you only lose a couple hundred RPM. Stay in the power band better for climbing. And going down the hills, it's way better, and it drives like a 9-speed otherwise. You don't have to worry about it otherwise. You're the only person in the company allowed to chain. The company owner does not chain. I don't know if that's an award for you or if you're being punished. Which LTL company would I recommend? You're looking into line haul. I love line haul at all these companies. You know, whoever's near you that fits into what you're doing. The highest pay I've ever seen from somebody that proved it to me is Old Dominion. At 136. Now, you don't start at that, certainly. Any line haul company that's near you that's going to pay you good is where I'd start. You have to watch some YouTube videos. You can't hammer down in an auto. Well, you hammer down, just nothing happens. Autos are great, can change multiple gears without going down grades. Look, I like it. They're okay. I'm not belittling it, but the 13-speed, I think, is the way to go on the road. And at least most drivers that had one probably go along with that. And then the second probably is a Super 10. That's probably the next best one. And number 3 is probably the top 2. If everybody remembers the top 2, all right, we can remember that as we head out of the show today. But it's time to go make my company some money. Hey, Wild Bell, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And thanks for being here as we wrap the show up today. 3:30, making money. I want for my company, certainly. Everybody be safe out there, all right? And I'm going to do a video about this detention thing. So if you didn't get that in the show today, in the description, there's going to be a video for everybody to file their information about detention. So that's what we're going to do later. You'll see that later this week. So driving a Super 10 is like dropping your roller wiener in a parking lot. It's not. It's worse than that. It's worse than seeing your roller wiener in the parking lot. I will say that. And that really says something, because I cried for 20 minutes when I saw that happen to you. I did. Band-Aid, God, it was money. No, they're not going to have any announcement. Mad Maldy's word to the homies. Acceleration, thanks for being here, everybody. Cassius King was here. Wild Bill, Mad Maldy, Al Johns came in. I appreciate it. Steel Horse, everybody, the moderators, right? I can't do this show without you. Everybody, of course, come back for the 20,000 subscriber show. We're going to announce it. Big giveaways. And there'll be giveaways for people. So, Cassius King Trucking, there it goes. Thanks for being here. I am headed out to make the company some money. See you next Monday.